morning, guys. The day we have all been waiting for. It is Election Day 2024. So last night, former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris made their final pitches to voters.
With your vote tomorrow, I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of criminals coming into our country. And I will bring back the American dream.
The momentum is on our side. Our campaign has tapped into the ambitions, the aspirations, and the dreams of the American people. And we know it is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
And it was two very different days on the campaign trail. Trump was joined on stage by steelworkers, despite their union endorsing Harris, while Harris was joined on stage by several celebrities.
I cast my vote for someone who will be a president for all Americans.
If we don't show up tomorrow, it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again.
And Trump was out rallying voters until 2 a.m. after his final stop in Michigan. And he also picked up a last-minute endorsement from podcaster Joe Rogan.
It just came over the wires that Joe Rogan just endorsed me. Is that good? Thank you, Joe. That's so nice. And he doesn't do that.
Today, former President Trump is spending Election Day here in Florida, and Vice President Harris is spending the day at the Naval Observatory in Washington, D.C. Guys.
What a nasty woman. For peanut.
For peanut, let's go! It's Election Day, baby! We have been waiting for this moment on this show for so long. Killer Klein is saluting the Benny production team. We are online. We are ready. We are rocking. We didn't even sleep. We were broadcasting at 3 a.m. last night. And we are ready to rock it, boys. We're going to win today. This is the energy. We are the rebels. We are the outlaws. We are the free thinkers. We are the crazy ones. Crazy enough to fight a system rigged against us. Crazy enough to think that we can win. And it's the crazy ones who think that they can change the world who actually end up doing it. We are America's future, ladies and gentlemen. And today, we make it real. Today, we save our great America. Today, ladies and gentlemen, America First will become the prevailing muscular movement in this country that is the most powerful, prominent, diverse, and principled movement this nation's ever seen since its founding. This is the day, Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, that we take our country back. That America is returned to the people. And that America, ladies and gentlemen, America First, is a nation that once again ascends to greatness. And we will do it all together. Ooh, baby, the signs are looking good. We're cooking out here. We're going to go through an hour of the first show will be pure data. We're going to talk through all of the data, all the polls, all the breaking news right now. We're going to cover everything. We're going to dive deep with data experts. with legal professionals on this program, Mike Davis, and with Elon Musk's mom, who will be joining us later on in the show. This is a triumphant movement, ladies and gentlemen, and I must ask you something before we begin the program today. It's something that we have been talking about for a long time. God is in control. God will save this place. God was willing to save Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And what did the angels of God ask for? For good men and women to stand up. I was not standing this morning. I was on my knees with my head bowed, praying to our Lord and Savior, Christ Jesus, and I prayed for him to deliver this nation from evil. And I ask that you stand with me today. I ask that you drop little prayer emojis in the chat right now. Please, in the chat, if you are praying for this nation, if you've already voted or are planning on voting, drop some prayers. Because the forces of evil will not just hand us the keys to this place. They are going to scream like demons because they love power. That is the single driving force. Remember, this was the temptation of Christ. What did Satan offer? Hey, here's all the kingdoms of the world, he says. Have power. This is what evil, of course, always seeks. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to win, and we will win because God voted 3 months ago, and because we have salt and light on our side. Today is a day where we vanquish evil. We have the energy. Pray with us on this program as we give you the good news. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, in this time of extreme upheaval, that you're considering your financial future. Make sure that you are locking in. We are set for a very bumpy path as we move forward. It's been a very stressful economic environment for everyone. I have an interesting anecdote actually to share about this in just a moment from my time voting here in Florida. But ladies and gentlemen, the Fed is finally dropping rates. There's no better time than now to put your family in a better financial position. If you're a homeowner, American Financing can help you, as they've helped thousands of families, get out from underneath crippling debt. American Financing is saving their borrowers $800 a month. $800 is like a $10,000 raise at work. It costs absolutely nothing to find out how much you could save. You can get started in as little as 10 days. Ladies and gentlemen, get started today. Call 888-528-1219. That's 888-528-1219, AmericanFinancing.net/Benny. AmericanFinancing.net/Benny, NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Whoo, baby. I voted this weekend. And I got to tell you, canary in a coal mine. Here we go. Canary in a coal mine. You're always looking for them. I'm going to give you one piece of anecdotal data today. One piece that should send the salty rock tears of our liberal brethren rolling down their faces. I voted and I had 2 women in front of me, 2 women behind me at my polling location. These were young, college or professional aged women. They were not married, at least not that I could see. Yeah, and they asked me who I was voting for in line. And I said, I'm voting for lower taxes, cheaper groceries, cheaper gas, safer streets, a secure border, and for the future of my children, right? One side is voting for unlimited access to murdered children. I'm voting actually for the children that I have in my family that are alive and for their future. I think that's a much stronger motivator, a much brighter motivator. But I digress. Every single one of those women looked at me with a knowing glance, and I know this look because I've seen it in cities across the country for our Man on the Street show, Benny on the Block, and go, yeah, we agree. America first, right? Which is like a secret symbol of saying, I'm voting Trump. It's not as overt as like wearing a MAGA hat. In fact, you're not allowed to do that in a polling location. It's just like this wink and a nod to say, you know what? I'm a woman. I've actually had it. This is the demographic that is the last linchpin for Kamala Harris. We're going to go through all the numbers today. But let me tell you something off the top. Kamala is underperforming by millions of votes. It is becoming mathematically impossible for Kamala to win at this current clip. Urban centers are underreporting. Minorities are underreporting. All the constituencies that could possibly piece it all together for Kamala are collapsing. With one exception, single, unmarried women, suburbanite women, young professional college-age women. This is the coalition now, okay? And yet every one of them in line with me said they were voting Trump, who were part of that demographic. What does that tell me? It tells me that the secret vote actually may not be what the Kamala ads say. There's this Kamala ad going around of, oh man, and I'm so excited to just never hear that cackle again. Please, for the love of God, just vote so that we never have to listen to the cackle again. There's a Kamala ad going around where like they whisper to women, oh, you can vote, you know, about some abusive husband, right? Don't do what your husband tells you to do. Don't listen to any man in your life. Never listen to any man in your life. Disrespect your family. Disrespect your boyfriend. Disrespect your husband. Like, go vote for Kamala Harris. That's like a closing argument for a Kamala Harris-aligned super PAC. I think it's the opposite, actually. I think what's happening right now in the country is actually the opposite of that. I think what's happening in the country is that millions of young women will be violating the trust that has tried to be established between them and corporate America and a psyop industry that has trotted out every single celebrity on the Diddy list to try and influence them, manipulate them, and psyop them into voting for Kamala Harris. But women know better. Young women want a future. They want men to be strong. They want an economy to be strong. They want to have an opportunity in that economy. And they're not these binary sheep or herd animals that the left thinks that they are. Black Americans, Latino Americans have proved that. I think young women will also prove that in this election. I think the secret vote is young women bucking the true influence operation on them, which is from other women like Oprah and the witches of The View, who cast spells on these young women and say, hey, listen, you know, you will vote for Kamala Harris. It's socially unacceptable to vote for Trump. And I think those women are saying, F you, actually. This country's in shambles. I can't afford groceries. How am I ever going to get married? How am I ever going to live the American dream? Young men have already locked in on that. But young male culture makes it very acceptable to support Donald Trump publicly. Young women culture does not at scale, okay? Depending on which level of psyop you are. So that was my experience voting. What was your experience voting? I'm saying that, like, as soon as I saw that, I voted on Sunday. So as soon as I saw that was the last day of early voting here in Florida. I said something incredible is about to happen. And we have a single motivator on this program, and we have something that we are going to be broadcasting tonight for you in all of its glory. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment when the salt became real. This is the most important, arguably, moment in American history up to the moment we are living in right now. This is the salt, ladies and gentlemen. This can all be accomplished in a matter of just a few hours. We could be right back here, but there's a lot more cameras and there's a lot more meme makers now. Ladies and gentlemen, the great saltoning of 2016. Remember this when you vote today. Remember this in your prayers. Remember this as you drift off to sleep tonight, hopefully with a Trump victory secured. We're going to talk about each state when they report and what we can expect this evening. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen. The beauty of it all. The sweet salt. It fills my cup. Come on, give me this. Give me the salt. Give me the salt, please. Get it, right, you lady, give me the salt. That's one. Give me that right in here. Ah, there it is. This could be us. This could be us. Dudes literally crying for Hillary Clinton. You want to know that there is a testosterone shortage in this country? There are white men, doughy white men, who are crying little Pillsbury tears for Hillary Clinton in 2016. Yeah. Get the fluoride out of the water, okay? Yeah. You got to, like every one of these guys, every one of these, geofence this area, find every single one of these guys, every white guy for Kamala Harris, send them to UFC training. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I will donate to start feeding those guys steak, start like teaching them how to be actual men. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so close to making this happen right now. It's such an exciting moment. I got to tell you, I don't really know how to say this in a way that doesn't get too exciting and to like get ahead of myself here. This was President Trump at 2 a.m. last night. You're not going to beat this energy. As we have said on this program time and time again, if every single Trump voter, if every single Trump supporter becomes a Trump voter, then we win. Then it's been won. Hey, Alex, can you grab me the memo from the Trump campaign yesterday about turnout? This is your president at 2 a.m. Where was Kamala at 2 a.m.? Drowning in a box of wine. Rattling around with her, like with a purse filled with bottles of Xanax, screaming at her staff. We know this based on a number of reports and based on Kamala Harris's own schedule yesterday, where she was giving 7-minute speeches and then leaving. Kamala Harris is in free fall right now. There was a marked change in Kamala Harris yesterday and the way that Kamala Harris was interacting with voters. And it's when this memo came out. I want to talk through this because I want to be very, very accurate here. We have a number of data experts coming on the show. We have lawyers coming on the show in the second hour. We'll get to all of the actual hard data, and I'm going to not sugarcoat. So here we go. The state of the race is this. Republican turnout in early voting. And we're going to talk about what we know today and the data that we have right now. You know, it's 11:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, what we have right now. We're going to jump to that very quickly. But what we know about early voting is this, that Republican turnout has been strong. It hasn't been overwhelming. Like you're not seeing percentage increases in like the 20, 30, and 50%. What you're seeing is strong, robust Republican turnout that matches or exceeds by 5, 6, or 7 points what you saw in 2020. This is as Republicans adopt early voting, adopt mail-in voting, and so on, depending on what is legal in your locality. So that's good. Republicans are steady as she goes. All right? Hand to the flint, nose to the grindstone. Republicans are grinding out their votes, okay, and doing a great job of it. Here's where the crisis begins. Democrats are nowhere near where they were in 2020. In fact, Democrats are down by millions of votes. Democrats head into this election down millions of votes. Democrat urban centers, Democrat voting blocks are not showing up. What this memo shows in swing states from the Trump campaign is that urban voting and women voting is down by orders of magnitude in every single swing state from 2020. That Democrats who often do not vote on election day have cannibalized their votes. And there are reports out this morning of effectively ghost towns in Fulton County, in Allegheny County, in Pennsylvania, in the big, large metropolitan areas, in massive swing states, in Detroit and in Milwaukee. In Maricopa County this morning, Republicans are winning 2-1 in the election day turnout. In Arizona, Republicans have a 200,000 vote advantage in the early vote. So this memo from the Trump campaign shows you the state of the race. The state of the race is effectively tied right now. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it and tell you that like Republicans are ahead by thousands of points. We'll get to Florida in just a moment and what this means. The state of the race is that in the early vote, many of these states are effectively neck and neck. Some have small advantages, Republicans, Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina. Some have small advantages, Democrats, like Pennsylvania have a small Democrat advantage in the early vote. But what's seen across, and if you could scroll through the memo, please, Killer Klein. What is seen as the trend across all this is that Democrats should have a massive advantage heading into this election day. A monstrous advantage, and they don't. An election day, heading into election day as a tie, or in some type of, with Republicans having a slight edge, spells doom for Democrats in major must-win swing states, especially Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, which are states that are in the Eastern time zone and will be announced quite quickly. Like we could have the Georgia results at like 8 p.m. tonight. You'll start to see what's actually happening there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a excellent trend. It's a trend that was talked about on CNN by a Trump campaign advisor, and as he explained it, it was like you could see like the ashen faces of those across CNN, like saying, "My goodness, where are we going to make up these votes?" Now, in a moment, I'll get you, and guys, I'm talking about the Mark Lauder clip from CNN. Let me know that we got, okay, great. Okay. And then we're going to go to Van Jones, because this is something that this is data that is being seen, digested, interpreted as pure doom for an election day where Democrats must turn out in overwhelming, catastrophic, like blue wave, unheard of numbers, which of course will be impossible, because that doesn't happen when 28% of the country says that the country is going in the wrong. 28% of the country says the country is going in the right direction. When 80% of the country says that this nation is going in the wrong direction, you will not have wave elections for the ruling party. When Donald Trump won 19 of 20 bellwether counties last election, you're not going to erode that. Donald Trump is more popular than he's ever been. Donald Trump has expanded his base, expanded his coalition in every arena. And ladies and gentlemen, the doom, the sunken ashen doom, is starting to be a pall on CNN. Check this out.
The math doesn't work. The Democrats are down 1.7 million early votes in the battleground states. In urban areas, they are down 1.4 million votes in the battleground states. Among women voters, rural voters have overperformed early by 300,000. Democrats have to win their races early. Republicans generally win them on election day. And the margins don't add up right now for the Democrats in any of these battleground states.
The margins don't add up. Too big to rig is what President Trump has been saying, is what we have been saying on this program. Too big to rig. Van Jones worried about it on CNN. Let's just set the table here, and then we're going to jump into the hard data and what this tells you with the Florida returns, because Florida is one of the few states that does live returns, where you can see it. This should happen across the country. Of course, Democrats and Democrat governors have archaically wound down the capacity to understand what's actually going on inside of their states, like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. They do this on purpose so they can cheat. But Florida is one of the few states in the entire country that does live reporting. And there are numbers out of Florida right now that will make you sing, okay? First off, here are libs crying on CNN already, okay? This might be our first cry of the day already with Van Jones. Let's go.
Philadelphia is where we've got to run up a big margin. But Philly overall has been trending down, not in terms of going toward the Republicans, just people not getting out to vote. And so you got people out there like Pastor Carl Day, who's got a bunch of young men with him, knocking on doors, trying to get people to come out. It's a bigger, tougher fight in Philly to get that vote count up than it has been in the past. That has me worried. The other thing that has me worried is that the Jewish vote in the suburban areas, Biden won the Jewish vote by 70%, 70-30 last time. Some polls show Kamala at 50-50. That is 70,000 votes we've bled away. That is the margin for victory.
Van Jones saying that just the losses are enough for the margin for victory. Okay, so let's jump into the hard numbers here. Ladies and gentlemen, and explain to you the actual state of the race. Because the MAGA movement is breaking records right now in early voting. Has already broken records in the early voting and is actively breaking records right now in the active election day voting. Here we go. Check this out. And I'm going to explain to you the significance of this. Because you're going to sit there and tell me, okay, Florida's a red state. We already understand this. Okay, let me explain. If you're heading into election day and Democrats have a massive enthusiasm gap, and that's what we know right now, based on the data, based on the hard numbers that we currently know, there is a monstrous enthusiasm gap where Democrats have effectively eroded or lost millions of votes since 2020. Where urban centers are not showing up. My entire social feed is filled with photos of empty lines and empty polling places in downtown Detroit, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. Yet there are lines for a country mile in Amish country, Pennsylvania. There are lines around the block and down to the McDonald's in farming and some of the Republican suburbs around Philadelphia. There is an enthusiasm gap that is measurable and true, okay? Now we get to Florida. Here's why this is important. This is what's happening in Florida right now. And boys, let me know if this is up to date at time of show. I want to be 100% accurate. What you're seeing in Florida is, and what Florida will be, is a canary in the coal mine for how much enthusiasm is actually real in the Republican Party. So we've seen enthusiasm gaps between this election and the last election for Democrats. How much is there an enthusiasm surge for Republicans? Florida will be the state that will let us monitor that because of its live monitoring. These are the live results from Florida right now. Ladies and gentlemen, with the exception of one gluttonous welfare county up here that subsists entirely off of the obesity of government handouts, right here. This is the state capital of Florida, which is an absolute disaster zone, quite frankly. It should be totally and completely reformed, or maybe moved. Just shut it all down. With the exception of one blue county that votes, Robbie telling me that this is the cow. Either way, this is right. This is where Tallahassee is. Okay, so this is where the hellscape of the state government in Florida is, and the people that subsist off of it. So throw this county out. Republican is voting red by a larger percentage than ever in the history of the state. Miami is freaking red. Where we are living right now, which is supposed to be a blue county, is freaking 50-50 right now. This is where we're broadcasting from. Broward is just the slightest of blue Miami is freaking red. Miami, which is like one of the biggest melting pots for immigrant communities, for Puerto Ricans, for Haitians, ladies and gentlemen, has gone to Donald Trump, is actively going to Donald Trump. And it's about to get worse throughout the day. Democrats vote early, Republicans vote on election day, and these are the results, and it's not noon. Ladies and gentlemen, what this shows is a 25-point GOP advantage. Here's the hard math of what this election map means when it comes to advantages. If the GOP, based on registrations, if the GOP in Florida had a 10-point advantage, it would be dicey. It would mean that Kamala Harris is running neck and neck with Trump. And the Kamala Harris's message has activated her voter base, that Republicans are depressed. Because there is a voter registration advantage for Republicans, a 10-point advantage would mean underperformance of Republicans. If there is a 15-point advantage, then that would mean good signs for Trump. That would mean an over-indexing of Republican voters in the state of Florida. An over 20% advantage in this state means historic landslide levels of support for Donald Trump that is transferable to the rest of the country, because never in an American election has Florida gone more red and Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania gone more blue. Every single time that's happened, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin all move with Florida. Florida is a bellwether state. Because of its election reporting system, you are able to see in real time what's happening in this state and project that nationally. It's not a perfect one-to-one. But I'm telling you right now that Florida Republicans winning by 25 points is an indication of a landslide for Donald Trump. This is what doom looks like. A little birdie told me, because we kept posting about, trolling the Kamala Harris rally that was here in Tampa, that the reason that Hillary Clinton was dispatched to Tampa after some long nights in Jeffrey Epstein's cell was, Diddy's cell, that's the new one, was because there are so many desperate members of the House that are from where I live. Kathy Castor is one of them, who's a Democrat member of the House that should have a safe seat, and now all their internal polling says that their seat's not safe anymore. That the Republican enthusiasm is so high that it is beginning to crush even the biggest firewall, as they call it, for Democrat members of Congress from the state of Florida. That Florida may well deliver the most Republicans in its history to the U.S. Congress this election. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, there's only one blue county in the entire state. So this is a massive indicator. If you're looking for signals right now, this is a signal. Here's more signals, ladies and gentlemen. Republicans have already flipped a seat. Northern Mariana Islands has flipped from blue to red. In Guam, now these are, of course, islands that vote way ahead of us, right? They're in totally different time zones. It's like an entire day away, right? Their elections have already been ongoing. In Guam, Donald Trump is not only outperforming by 20 points, but the legislature in Guam, which is American territory, is projected to flip to Republicans for the first time in 20 years. These are signals. These are signals, ladies and gentlemen. The Real Clear Politics map, this is one of the best maps out there, projects that Donald Trump will retake the White House without winning Michigan or Wisconsin. The Real Clear Politics map also hands Virginia to Kamala Harris. But the reality is that as you drive through Northern Virginia, as many birdies have been sending us videos, you can see that Northern Virginia has not shown up for Kamala Harris. The lines are completely empty. Meanwhile, there are rural lines in the rural red counties of Virginia that stretch for miles. The rural vote is outperforming the urban vote 2 and 3-1 across the nation. Here is another sign, ladies and gentlemen, that Real Clear Politics is saying there is doom that is happening right now for Kamala Harris. Oh man, and we haven't even gotten to Kamala Harris last night and the levels of cringe, unspeakable. Let's talk about the early vote. Jesse Waters breaking it down, and how the early vote for Republicans is at an all-time record, and that nobody has ever seen anything like this, where Republicans are going into Election Day leading in Maricopa County, in Clark County in Nevada, in North Carolina, and in Georgia. Republicans leading in those states, not having to make up, and then on Election Day, you have a plus 25-point enthusiasm advantage for Republicans. Ladies and gentlemen, we're cooking. We're cooking. Hey, Alex, we got this clip? Baby, let's rock. Let's rock with some data here. Okay? Take us home, and then we have some, we have something amazing that just broke. Get ready. Get ready, boys. This is going to be an incredible night. Here we go.
The race in Pennsylvania, according to the polls, is tied. It's also tied in Michigan and Wisconsin. Harris can't afford to lose any of these states because Donald Trump's ahead by at least a point or two in North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. It looks close, but the Trump campaign feels good about where they are because of the early vote. For the first time in history, Republicans are ahead in the early vote. That's in person and in mail ballot combined. They're ahead in Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and Nevada, and have cut Democrats' early vote lead in Pennsylvania by half.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are signs. There's a little place called Dixville Notch. I don't know if we have any footage of it. It's funny. It's like this little place that is a small town. I think there's only 6 residents. Is that correct? 6 residents in this town in New Hampshire. All 6 of them voted for Joe Biden over Donald Trump in the last election. Now you might say that doesn't matter, but I would argue that if you're going to stitch together trend lines, which is the best that we can do right now, the fact that Dixville Notch in New Hampshire has shifted 50% right, meaning 3 of the votes went to Trump. 3 went for Harris, 3 went for Trump. Okay? That's a sign. The fact that Guam has moved 10 points to the right, that's a sign. That's an indicator of momentum, ladies and gentlemen. Blowout numbers coming out of Florida. Blowout numbers. And here we go. The swing state odds are now beginning to crater for Kamala. Ooh, here you love to see it. Donald Trump's odds are now in the 80% arena in Arizona. Tight in Nevada. Up 70% in Georgia. Donald Trump crushing in Pennsylvania. Michigan, Kamala is, and Wisconsin. Those are going to be tough. But the lines that we are seeing right now are inspiring. What we are seeing across the nation is a historic swing to the right. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Dixville notch. It was 5-0 for Biden, and it swing. You might say, okay, that's like a funny little antiquated, anecdotal thing. I don't think so. Not now. Not today. No, ladies and gentlemen. The margins don't add up. The math does not add up for Democrats. This moment, ladies and gentlemen, is a moment, and you can feel it, of a energy surge in our nation. And if you want to know exactly who has the positivity, who has the optimism and the spirit of winning, what's that famous UFC fight, Killer Klein? I think it was maybe Conor McGregor, where Joe Rogan's like, he's looking at his opponent, he's like, man, he looks stiff. He looks tough.
Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo. Won the belt.
Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo.
Feeling the pressure of this moment.
Feeling the pressure is a famous Joe Rogan line where Joe Rogan calls what's going to happen in the fight before a single punch was thrown because of the look of the fighters. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a clip for you. MSNBC right now. Get out your salt shakers. It's called Salt That Lib on this program. We salt our libs on this program, so I want the salt shakers pouring into the comment section. We're going to be capturing all the salt today. This is your number 1 salt repository on the internet. We're going to be capturing and memeing all the salt today. We're going to have so many... No. We're going to have so many of those no memes. No! We're going to have so many of those today. We'll be watching. We'll be prepared. We're already in tune. We're already vibing with this. Get a load of this. MSNBC just broadcast one of the saltiest clips of the day so far. Get out your salt shakers. Salt these libs. There's going to be a lot of this happening today. MSNBC knows doom. And if Joe Rogan was calling this, and Joe Rogan endorsed Donald Trump last night, which was awesome. We got to cover that in just a second. But if Joe Rogan was calling this, he'd say, they're not in the moment. They're not in the moment. They're feeling the pressure right now. Check it out.
We still have an electorate, 70 million plus, that will be voting for a man who said he was going to assassinate for treason the chairman of the Joint Chiefs because he didn't support him on January the 6th, who has said just in recent days he was going to execute Liz Cheney with a firing squad, 9 guns pointed and shooting at her face. A man who has said that he was going to shut down CBS because he didn't like how they edited an interview. A man who said he was going to be a dictator from day one. A man who said he was going to terminate the Constitution. A man who said he was going to use the army and he was going to use the National Guard on his political opponents. I literally could go on all day. And yet you talk to Trump voters and they'll go, he didn't say that. Wait, no, I didn't hear him. And then you say, well, here's the quote. And then they'll go, yeah, he didn't mean that. So there's something far more long-lasting than just Donald Trump, the candidate. There is a sort of Russian embrace of disinformation, a radical devaluing of truth over the last 9 to 10 years, and a complete ignorance on civics and what the term Madisonian democracy even means, what checks and balances even means, what judicial review even means, what the rule of law even means. How do we as a nation, even post-Trump, how do we reach those Americans who apparently didn't go to civics class, apparently didn't learn the basics of this Constitution, and have just been overwhelmed with this information over the past 9 years?
Okay. Hey, ass clown. Let me explain something to you. The movement of America First is the single most unifying movement in American history. It is a movement of some of the greatest tech titans to ever live, the richest man to ever live, the most powerful media voice to ever live, men from the most powerful political family to ever live, and some of the bravest voices to ever speak out against corruption inside of their own party. Of course, I'm talking about RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Hulk Hogan, Dr. Phil, Buzz Aldrin, to just start the list. You could, of course, add Vivek Ramaswamy to this. Disaffected Democrats who just moments ago were being embraced by your show. We can show you like NC-17 rated footage of Mika Brzezinski stroking Donald Trump, lavishing him, sitting on his lap. Yeah, but you got to dance for your masters, don't you? Yeah. You're part of the losing team, pal, and you're behaving like a loser, denigrating and insulting your fellow Americans. Here's what I say. All are welcome inside of America First, as long as you're okay with, well, putting America first. Incumbent in the name. Safe borders, secure elections, ending this insanity that we live through where elections have to take days and weeks. No, they should be done on election night. We should be able to see the results live like Florida does it. You should be able to track your vote and have a carbon copy of it. There should be no machines counting votes. There's like endemic in the system, ladies and gentlemen, and something that we'll get to in a moment, which is the lawsuits that the RNC has had to file against some broken machines, actually right now, across Pennsylvania, because the machines are breaking. I'm not saying this to depress you. I do not want to depress you. And I think that it is loser behavior to be like, it's all rigged, we shouldn't vote. No! That is loser behavior. And these men and women did not unite for you to be a loser. What does Joe Scarborough have? What does Kamala Harris have? The Diddy list. That's it. That's who you got. The Diddy list. Here's RFK Jr. this morning posting Thug Life. That's it. No comment. Just like the scion of the Kennedy family and the inheritor of the Kennedy Camelot movement posting a photo of him as a cowboy with Elon Musk and Donald Trump and J.D. Vance saying Thug Life. Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social. The Justice League. Like, prepare. That's a good one, man. You pop that one up. Look at that. Team Unity. That's great. Did we make this? That's awesome. Come on. Team Unity. Donald Trump should get inaugurated wearing that. I mean, if Donald Trump wears it, he wins 48 states. Donald Trump wears the squirrel outfit, he wins 48 states. Joe Rogan endorsing last night President Trump. Joe Rogan endorsed President Trump in a post where he said, I'm through. I'm through with this. I'm through with the government tyranny. Here we go. To his 13.4 million followers, Joe Rogan says, I'm done. I'm done. Here we go. The great and powerful Elon Musk. This was a podcast that he posted with Elon Musk. If it wasn't for him, we'd be effed. He makes what I think is the most compelling case for Trump you'll ever hear. I agree with him every single step of the way. For the record, yes, that is an endorsement of President Trump. He's the most powerful man in media history, with the most powerful owned audience in media history. Joe Rogan has hundreds of millions of subscribers. This alone was seen by 28 million people, 464,000 likes, 110,000 reposts. Thermonuclear. And then Elon Musk, over the course of the interview, lays out a beautiful case for President Trump, but also a bit of a dark and a scary case for what will happen if we do not win. This is, in fact, the most important election. Now, Danny, can you up that clip that we had for last night? I want to play it. I think it's important. I think it's worth Alex, I think it's worth playing. This is a moment of extreme bravery in this country. And you're seeing that bravery is contagious. Because at the same time that the world's richest man is coming out and endorsing Donald Trump, tech billionaires, lifelong Democrats are doing the same thing. Maybe you've never heard of Mark Pincus, but he said, I've had enough. I am voting for Donald Trump. The dam is breaking. The cultural rot that has been brought about by these tyrants is finally seen for what it is, and it's a mask-off moment. Everything that Kamala Harris did yesterday was a mask-off moment. Man, it was a humiliating day. Boy, it was a humiliating day. And we're gonna all laugh about it together. Yeah, boys, can we load up that Rogan comment? Because before we move off this, I'm sure you've all seen it before. I'm sure you've seen that Joe Rogan endorsed, but just like the power of the actual statement of the endorsement and why this vote matters is worthy of being played. If we affect a single person, if there is a single person that watches this clip of Elon Musk and Joe Rogan explaining what this election means for the future of our nation, if a single person sees this and is motivated to vote, then it's worth it. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. This is the Elon Musk, Joe Rogan explanation of why this election is so damn important. Let's go.
Again, man. I think this is the last election. If Trump doesn't win, this is the last election.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think people, and a lot of people are waking up and realize that have been lifelong Democrats. Guys like Bill Ackman, guys like Chamath.
Yeah, exactly.
Tulsi Gabbard switched over to the Republicans. Yep. Like, there's a lot of people who their whole life they've been left wing and they realize, like, I can't do this anymore.
You and I used to be Democrats.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It's nuts, man. And, I mean, I think the things we want are just pretty basic. It's like we want individual liberties and we want opportunity. We want America to remain the land of freedom and opportunity. So we maximize people's personal freedom. The government can't barge into your house and kill your fucking pet. That's fucked up. And that you succeed as a function of your hard work and talent, not anything else. Not race, religion, sex, doesn't matter.
Yes.
The basic stuff. And then.
What did you change the acronym DEI? What did you change it to?
Oh, DIE.
What is it?
Die.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has taken. You want to talk about enthusiasm? Man, I can show you the data all day. Okay, now unfortunately we don't get real-time election data from other states. We get it from Florida. But just look at this podcast alone. Here are two Democrats, two Obama voters, two of the most powerful men on earth, inarguably, saying they're voting for Trump because Trump won them over. Because Trump actually walked into the Lion's Den, into the Joe Rogan podcast, sat for 3 hours, won him over. Trump changed the minds of these remarkably powerful men who, by every measure, have the motivation to keep everything the same. Right? Isn't that the point? If you're a billionaire, wouldn't you just want things to stay the same? Elon Musk is a billionaire. Joe Rogan contracts are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You have to assume that he's at that level. Wouldn't these guys just want everything to stay the same? But instead, President Trump, through hard work and through physical effort, has changed the mind of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was a Trump hater. It just is what it is. Joe Rogan did not like Trump. Joe Rogan said he would never let Trump on his podcast. The assassination attempt changed everything. And last night, President Trump, at his final rally, we were live till 3 a.m. last night. We will be there for you today, baby. We got people everywhere. We got reporters inside of Trump's victory party tonight. We're going to be live tonight. We're going to be let her rip. We have a ton of special guests. It's going to be great. Ladies and gentlemen, last night, President Trump said, I hope God put me here to save this country, matching the vibe of RFK Jr. who RFK Jr. in a profound statement said he's prayed for 25 years that God would give him the ability to save children from the poisons in our water supply, in our food supply, in our air, and to make America's children healthy again. 25 years, RFK says, he got down on his knees and he prayed to his creator, to our Lord and Savior, to give him this opportunity, and now it's here. Donald Trump echoing that sentiment last night in this beautiful remark. Here we go.
But when I was down, there was no feeling like I had in the White House. I mean, I totally was aware of everything. But had I not made that turn, I wouldn't be with you tonight, and that would have been bad. And I hope that's right. I hope that's right. I hope that God did put me here to really save this country. Because this country's in big, big trouble.
I hope that God put me here to save this country. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is kicking Christians out of her rallies. Oh, we have it on tape. Oh, you're upset that I said that? Okay, well, she's the one who said that Christ isn't king, you're at the wrong rally. Okay? When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. President Trump from last night, you probably want, I hope you were watching. If you were watching, shout it out, okay, in the comment section, because you're a real one. Look at the time, by the way, up in the corner of these clips. The time up in the corner will be right over here, actually. The time is like 1 and 2 a.m. This is President Trump doing rallies at 1 and 2 a.m. President Trump wrapping up what this journey means in his final MAGA rally of the 2024 election. Not the final MAGA rally, but the last one of the 2024 election. Donald Trump crystallizing what this movement means.
This has been an incredible journey. And it's very sad in a way because, we've done all these, and this is the last one. But here's the good news. All we were doing is putting ourselves in a position to win, which we can do tomorrow very easily if we show up. Just so you know, if we show up, they can't win. They can't. They mathematically can't win.
They mathematically can't win. This is what we've been covering this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, in moments we'll bring on pollsters, mathematicians, some data experts. President Trump's attorney will be joining us. Elon Musk's mom will be joining us on this show. We're going to talk through this momentum and this moment, and we're going to get down into the data. But listen, there's nothing like the cloud of doom that hangs over a losing team, a losing side. And you've seen it before, whether it's your kid's Little League soccer team that just has a bad attitude, whether it's a fighter in the UFC that just even before a punch is thrown just looks like they're carrying the weight of the moment too heavily, that they're not in the moment. You can see a losing side, and you can see a winning side. I'll show you a winning side right here. Here's a winning side. This is what it looks like to win. This is your 78-year-old president at 2 a.m. 2 a.m., Grand Rapids, Michigan, Donald Trump, after 4 rallies in 4 different states, is rocking with it. Ladies and gentlemen, you just don't get more iconic. Dream big again, America. This election has been about dreaming big. It's been a big election. We'll never see anything like it in our lifetimes. It's the most important election of your lifetime. Yeah, it is, Alex, actually. Yes, it is. You'll never see a president with a mugshot probably ever again. This will probably be our last president with a mugshot. Why? Because it backfired so much. Not because the libs wouldn't want to do this again. It backfired so much. You remember this? You'll never forget it, actually, will you? Right? You'll never see any man who has fought through so much. The assassinations, and I'm not just talking about physical assassinations. They tried to murder this man multiple times. Political assassinations, impeachment assassinations, judicial assassinations. They've done it all. I mean, they've literally done it all. Some of the wisest men in this space Tucker and Alex Jones, Glenn Beck, they were all predicting that Trump was going to be assassinated about a year ago, approximately. Last November, last December was when like that real conversation came about, and lo and behold, here, look at this image. Iconic. You know, wise people who follow politics will tell you that it's not really a speech that does it. The speeches are forgettable. Can you even remember a single line that Barack Obama's ever said? Can you recall a single thing Barack, he was a president for 8 years. He like literally wouldn't stop talking. So it's the most boring, droning on teleprompter pablum ever. Can you remember a single word he's ever said? No, of course not. Images, ladies and gentlemen. When people go vote, they see these images from a campaign trail, a series of images of what a campaign really is. Because a photo says 1,000 words. And so if a photo is worth 1,000 words, then how much more is a video worth, which is hundreds of thousands or millions of photos strung together? We watched Donald Trump survive an assassination attempt. That's what people are seeing when they walk into the voting booth. When I cast my ballot, and I bet you did too, let me know, shout yourself out in the comments if you did. When I cast my ballot, I like dug in there. I took my fist and I dug in there. I like, as Dana, I didn't want to like harm the ballot or anything. I wanted it to count for President Trump. But man, I voted with this on my mind. This imagery right here. Clip I, please.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
He got shot in the face, and then he got up to give all of us a message to fight. Did you vote with that? That's the energy that I voted with. That's what I remembered. That and my children. My wife's pregnant. I have 3 kids. I thought about my kids. I thought about a president that was willing to fight and die for them. Because that's what Trump's saying. He's willing to die for my kids. Trump wants to make a better future for my kids so much that he's willing to die for it. That should be a prerequisite for all leaders. President Trump says, I'm willing to die for your children, for you. It's the definition of servant leadership. And that's enough, but it doesn't stop there. After he'd been shot in the face, Trump goes to McDonald's to serve up salty fries.
Very, very nice.
That would be enough.
You know, if you look at really what's happening, look at the crowd over there. Look how happy everybody is.
Listen to this.
Got about 10,000 people out there. That's a big crowd, huh?
Mr. Trump, why did you feel it was important to come here today?
I love McDonald's. I love jobs. I like to see good jobs. And I think it's inappropriate when somebody puts down all over the place that she worked at McDonald's. It was a big part of her resume that she worked at McDonald's, how tough a job it was. She specifically worked at the French fry, where they make the French fries, and she talked about the heat. It was so tough. She never worked at McDonald's. McDonald's just confirmed that again, by the way. She never worked at McDonald's.
Donald Trump has now worked at McDonald's more than Kamala Harris. If you need further iconic imagery of what it looks like to be a servant leader, there you have it. The assassination attempt not enough. Working at McDonald's not enough. Trump went and visited a Chick-fil-A. Not just any Chick-fil-A. Trump visited a Chick-fil-A in the county that's trying to put him in prison for the rest of his life. Look at the staff at the Chick-fil-A. Look at them lovingly, adoringly, ravenous for President Trump. President Trump is like the Chick-fil-A secret sauce as he's standing there in the county, Fulton, that is trying to arrest him and destroy his life and destroy him forever. The residents of Fulton County come running up to President Trump saying, "We don't believe the media. We love you." Here we go. Have a listen to this.
I don't care what the media tells you, Mr. Trump. We support you.
We support you, Mike.
Okay, 4 p.m. We're doing 4 p.m.
Come here, let me give you a...
President Trump bought everyone Chick-fil-A that day. Went into, take a step back. This is what bravery is. This is what being high T is. This is what being an actual leader is. This is what being alpha masculine looks like. And these are the kind of leaders you want. Because these kind of leaders tend to be servant leaders. Such a great photo. The most iconic photo of a president ever taken? I don't know. I don't know. Here you go, Anon. Here's some extra salt for you to prepare for tonight. This is the demonstration of the same feature in President Trump, which is servant leadership. I will get shot in the face and I will stand up and I will take this moment where the eyes of the world will be on me and this clip will be replayed forever to not cower in the corner and run away and drop out of the race, but to look you in the eye and tell you, I'm fighting, so can you. I'm here to serve you. President Trump continued. When Joe Biden called all of us garbage, when Joe Biden called all of America garbage, because that's what you're doing. When you call one American garbage, you're calling all of us garbage. Because you're my fellow countrymen. We're fellow countrymen together. Donald Trump went and got into a garbage truck.
You for a moment. Stand by for a moment. Trump is answering some questions from reporters.
Joe Biden to make that statement, it's really a disgrace.
President Trump, you said the other day that the military would be...
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
I will never be able to watch that clip without laughing my ass off. That is the single most heartwarming clip I've ever seen in American politics. Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump continued to take his message. How does he win Joe Rogan? How does Trump win over Joe Rogan, a guy who hates him? Joe Rogan did not like Donald Trump a few years ago. How do you win that guy over? Look at this. Here's President Trump in the Bronx. This is the rally in the Bronx. In one of the most Democrat districts in America, Donald Trump is packing it out. Tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands. We were at the Madison Square Garden rally. There were hundreds of thousands of supporters there. President Trump standing there in spite of the assassination attempts, in spite of the attempts to put him in prison for the rest of his life, to lock up not just him, but his supporters, Donald Trump. Standing there with rappers, actually, that also endorsed Donald Trump on stage. Chef G and Sleepy Hollow. Donald Trump asking for a grill. We got to get that clip. Got to get it. Donald Trump. We're the only show that seized on this clip. This is my favorite clip of the 2020 election. And I know. You're going to tell me that there's way more iconic things. Why would you go in this like crappily filmed Nokia cell phone footage of Donald Trump driving through an impoverished neighborhood in Atlanta in Fulton County? Look at what happens. Watch the authenticity of President Trump after getting his mugshot. Trump had just gotten his mugshot. This was an all-time low point, I guess you could argue, on paper for Donald Trump and his movement. Donald Trump drives through the neighborhoods that are presumably Democrat and are supposed to want him in jail, right? For contesting an election, which is his legal right. Watch the reactions. This clip's 2 years old now, but I freaking love it. Watch the reactions to regular Americans, downtrodden, in neighborhoods that have clearly seen better days, as Donald Trump rolls through, and it'll tell you everything.
Y'all see it, man.
Which one are you in, though? From Donald Trump. I'm talking about they got everybody.
Free Trump.
Look at that fucked up.
Free Trump. They're screaming, Fanny, you done effed up. They're screaming free Trump. It's like clips like this that that really locked me in and said, wait a second, there's a movement that's going on here that's so much bigger than anything we've ever seen in American politics before. Donald Trump walking into Madison Square Garden with Tucker Carlson, Kid Rock, Don Jr., Dana White. The epic walk-in for UFC. Of course, Donald Trump would never enter Madison Square Garden in a more epic fashion, but of course, ladies and gentlemen, we were wrong. Here's President Trump just last weekend. We had the honor of being there, welcomed to Madison Square Garden by his beautiful wife, Melania. And the cheers were deafening as Donald Trump takes the stage. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, there he comes. There he goes. Donald Trump walked out as a conquering hero in the middle of the bluest city in America, downtown New York, with 100,000 people. Kamala Harris could never. Could never. The single most unifying figure in American political history. That's absolutely and totally inarguable. RFK Jr. and Donald Trump on stage. People, ladies and gentlemen, we're just talking through the last year. I mean, what the clips that we've showed you, these are just the last 6 months of epic, legendary, landscape remaking moments. The Kennedy family and the Trump family uniting once and for all to destroy the systems that killed the Kennedys, tried to kill Donald Trump, killed this man's father. It's like a freaking, it's like the original Star Wars trilogy level epic storytelling that we're living through. And it doesn't end there. Speaking of Star Wars, Elon Musk literally jumping with joy to endorse President Trump live on stage. A man who is truly one of the greatest geniuses to ever live, has a gift from God. Endorsing Donald Trump, one of the smartest, arguably the most successful and powerful man on earth is Elon Musk. And he's telling you to go vote for Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump, time and time again, walks in with the same energy that is right now roaring through the polls and the early voting numbers. That energy to save America, to fight back, to rid this country of the tyranny and the boot on its neck is ascendant. And this will be a magnificent evening. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited to welcome our first guest to the program, President Trump's perhaps future Attorney General, the man who has been defending the president legally like a fiercest possible warrior that you can think of. The great Mike Davis, ladies and gentlemen, joins the program now. Mike, this has got to be a great day for you. I mean, you've just got, like, the returns for President Trump are as red as your hair. And as red as your sweetheart that loves America, I know very much, but has been, but is also slightly maniacal and has been looking forward to a moment where you could dispatch some of those who wish to truly destroy this place and destroy everything that we hold dear. I guess, starting with your takeaways from how the election is going right now, and how scared should Kamala Harris be?
I am down in Trump headquarters in West Palm Beach, Florida. President Trump's actually coming into the building right now, so we have a little bit of Secret Service madness, but we're in a very good place. President Trump's early voting numbers are historic. So long as his supporters continue to vote in massive numbers today, sprint through the finish line, President Trump will be back in the office on January 20th at noon. It is critically important to get Trump's voters out to vote all across America, not just in the 7 swing states, all over America. We want to give Trump a historic win today. We want to give him a massive nationwide win, a mandate from the American people, and give him a governing majority in the House and the Senate with these state races, governors, attorneys general, state legislatures. Let's swamp the vote today and give President Trump a big win. He has put everything on the line for this country. He doesn't need this. He has a better house. He has a better car, better airplane, better helicopter. He doesn't need this job. He's doing this because he knows our country is in desperate need of saving, and he's willing to put everything on the line to save this country. So get out there and vote. If you have not voted already, get out there and vote today. Call your friends, your neighbors, your family members, your colleagues. Get them out to vote. We need to deliver a massive win for President Trump today.
Mike, I don't know if you can update us on some of the shenanigans we've been seeing in Pennsylvania. Apparently, some of the machines going down, some of the long lines there. The long lines are obviously a good thing, but you want those voters to vote, and you don't want any funny business. Michael Whatley has been posting updates and seems to be on top of it. Any updates?
Yeah, I am volunteering for the Trump legal team here in the headquarters, and I'll tell you that President Trump learned his lesson from 2020. He has hired a phenomenal legal team led by RNC Chairman Michael Whatley, co-chair Laura Trump. You have David Warrington as the general counsel from the Trump campaign, Janine Bresso at the RNC, Steve Kenney at the RNC, Bill McGinley at the RNC. The Viceroy is here to be the pretty face of the operations, the face for radio. We are on top of it. We're not going to let this election get rigged and stolen. So Trump supporters need to understand that there are issues that are coming up. We're catching them very early. We have a very organized, aggressive, robust team all across the country. Your vote is going to count this time. So get out there and vote for President Trump all over America, and vote for Republicans all the way down the ballot. We need to take back our country from these Marxists. We need to save America. Kamala Harris broke this country. She broke our border. She broke our economy, and President Trump is going to fix it.
I want to begin by saying that we are so impressed by the election integrity work that has already been done. But it's worth singing the praises and ringing the bell when you get victories like this. This is posted early in the morning hours today. Pennsylvania election integrity, by the way, this is Michael Whatley. This is the chairman of the RNC. We can see why President Trump backed this man to be RNC chair. Early this morning, we learned that Republican poll watchers in Pennsylvania, York, Westmoreland, Allegheny, Leahy, and Cambria, Wyoming, and Lackawanna counties were being turned away. We deployed roving attorneys, engaged with local officials, and now can report that all Republican poll watchers have been let into the building. We will keep fighting, keep winning, and keep sharing updates. It's amazing, Mike. It's like when we fight back, we actually win.
That's right. They were able to pull their shenanigans in 2020 because we let them. We're not letting them do it this time. We have a phenomenal legal team, again, led by RNC Chairman Michael Whatley and Trump General Counsel David Warrington. We're ready this time. We have an army of lawyers. We have an army of election workers, poll watchers. They're not going to be able to get away with their nonsense again.
Mike, can you please fill me in on something that I know is very near and dear to your heart, because I believe you are a Colorado resident, or at the very least, you have great connections to that state. The Secretary of State in Colorado has leaked all of the passwords and left them up for months on the Secretary of State website and has done nothing to rectify that or fix that. How can anybody trust the numbers out of Colorado this election?
So I would say this, that I am a Colorado resident. I split my time between DC and Colorado. I hate DC, so I spend 80% of my time in Colorado. And there are two big issues this election. Number one, Monica Marquez. She is the Colorado Supreme Court Chief Justice. Monica Marquez is up for retention this year. Trump voters, Republicans, even right-thinking Democrats need to vote hell no on the retention of Monica Marquez. She was one of the 4 left-wing radicals on the Colorado Supreme Court who illegally, unconstitutionally took President Trump off the Colorado Republican primary ballot. She was reversed 9-0 by the Supreme Court. That is very hard to do. She lost the 3 liberals on the Supreme Court. So vote no on Monica Marquez. And on Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold. She helped put a 69-year-old woman, Tina Peters, in prison for 9 years for exposing election passwords, election machine passwords. We just learned that Jenna Griswold exposed these passwords for months on the internet, and she covered this up and she lied about it. Jenna Griswold needs to face a felony prosecution, just like Jenna Griswold instigated against Tina Peters. This is unacceptable. This is totally unacceptable what Jenna Griswold has done. If she had any dignity at all, she would resign so a new Secretary of State can come in and clean up this mess. But Jenna Griswold should go to prison.
Who, Mike, would be in charge of bringing lawsuits like that and others? Because I think that the most important way to stop election fraud is deterrence. This is, you are way down on a supply chain if you're committing election fraud. And we know this happens. We talk about the felony cases of election fraud day and night on this program. New York Times just wrote a massive hit piece on us for noticing the amount of election fraud in this country. If you are committing election fraud, I think this is an important message to get out there. You are at the end of a supply chain. You're going to prison. It should be the result that you are essentially saying, I don't wish to be a free person anymore. I'm going to jail because I've committed election fraud. How do we ensure that those who do this in a second Trump administration are brought to justice and are thrown in jail where they belong, as a reminder to everyone and as a warning that election fraudsters go to prison for life?
Well, the voters across America can make sure that happens by getting out and voting for President Trump today, voting for Republican Senate candidates today, voting for Republican House candidates, governor, state AG, district attorneys. If you want to have any accountability, we've seen with the left, Ben, we've seen this very clearly, that the left has politicized and weaponized our intel agencies, our law enforcement, our justice system. And if we want to take back this country, we need to elect Republicans up and down the ballot so we can restore justice in this country. And I'll say this to these people who are committing voter fraud: you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught by the Trump 47 Justice Department. And I would say this to non-citizens. This is important. If you are not a citizen of the United States, it is against federal law to vote in federal elections and in most state elections, but it's definitely against the law to vote in federal elections. It's almost always a federal felony, and it's almost always a deportable federal felony. So I would tell non-citizens, you better think long and hard before you vote in any federal election.
Mike, what happens with a Trump Justice Department? This is always where we sort of end in our interviews, because I want to vision cast for people. Because we just walked through the litany of what President Trump has been through, starting with the mugshot and going well beyond the Mar-a-Lago raids. What does a Trump Justice Department look like? You are clearly a legal architect for the vision of what Trump justice would look like in this country. Can you expound?
So I want President Trump to pick a an attorney general who's going to bring back dignity and justice to the Justice Department. I'm not going to do it. As you know, Ben, I can't get confirmed anything because I go on your show and say crazy things that makes me unconfirmable. But President Trump, that's probably President Trump's most important appointment is the attorney general. And we need an attorney general who's going to go over there and clean house and get rid of these partisan actors like Jack Smith, who should be fired on day one, on January 20th at noon. His entire office should get fired. And you know what? I would say to Jack Smith today, it's election day, so I'll say something controversial. Right now, you're the hunter. Jack Smith, after today, you're going to be the hunted, legally, politically, and financially. So lawyer up, buddy.
Mike, the level of smack talk that you bring on this program is so exciting, and the entire comment section just melts down with love for you. I just want to let you know how beloved you are. What is the path forward today that you see? What do you expect to happen? I expect Georgia and North Carolina to be called quickly for President Trump, and I expect there to be the beginning, then the pall of doom to be put over the Kamala campaign as the numbers become mathematically impossible in Pennsylvania. But what do I know, right, Mike? Can you tell me what you are seeing from a legal perspective internally?
I am very bullish, and I have been bullish for the president's here. I am bullish, and I've been very bullish for a long time. I think as so long as Trump supporters show up and vote today, we're going to win in a landslide.
Yeah, that was amazing to hear Donald Trump go, "Are we winning? Are we winning today?" That's awesome. That's an all-time.
Ben, the Secret Service is kicking me off, so I need
all-time
to go.
great Mike moment. All-time
Ben.
Great Mike moment. God bless you, Mike. Get to work, buddy.
Thank you.
We're with you.
Thank you.
I'll let Mike go see the president. You know, he's just here to save the country, but taking time to speak to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is how important this moment is. And this is how great of a movement we have built. In the last couple of days, we've had Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Laura Trump, all of the Trump children that are active in the campaign or politically active have been live on the program talking with this channel. Please subscribe. Please hop into the comment section and leave some love. If you wish to become a member and support our work, that's awesome, but we have so much more to do. Oh man, this has been a wild ride. You've been there for us. We're going to be there for you. Just a very brief announcement here on programming. We're going to be reading the results of the election live tonight. It's going to be a riot of a show. We have a full-time comedian that will be joining us, and Terrence Williams, along with a ton of other special guests. I will be in the studio. Executive producer ALX and Danny D'Urbina, producers extraordinaire, will be at the Trump party. We'll be reporting live from inside of the Trump victory party. You just heard President Trump there in the clip. You guys, we got to clip that and get it up. So great. You just heard President Trump. Who's ready for victory? What other show can bring you that clip, ladies and gentlemen? With the great Mike Davis, you could hear Trump in the background. Incredible. Incredible. We are ready to win. We're ready to fight. The data is on our side. And joining us right now is an absolute data expert. Somebody whose X feed is a must read when it comes to the actual churn of the numbers behind this moment. And ladies and gentlemen, we've been live for an hour and a half, so things have changed since the start of the show. And so we are going to go right now to Eric Daughtry, who is the news director at Florida's Voice, and who can fill us in on where we are from an enthusiasm standpoint, what it means nationally, and where we're headed tonight. Eric, join the show. Eric Daughtry. I'm sorry about that. Did I get your name wrong, Eric?
You got my name right.
Come on. All right. You know what? We're live. We're ready. We're ready to rock and roll. Okay. So Florida is live right now. Thank you for joining the program. We're a big fan of your X feed. We encourage everybody to follow. Let's just pop it up real fast here. We encourage everybody to follow because this is the TikTok of a feed that really shows you hard data, hard numbers, interprets them, and is able to make it is able to take the data and make it it's vision cast, like what it means. So I want to start with the state of Florida, since you work for Florida's Voice. What does the state of Florida enthusiasm gap between Democrats and Republicans show you, Eric?
Well, right now, Florida is just having a total red tsunami, and I'm not using that term lightly. I am not making that up. It is redder than 2020's election day, and you remember that was the year where we had the big discrepancy where Republicans wanted to not vote early and Democrats only wanted to vote early. This year, we've been hearing, oh, well, Republicans are voting early more, but Democrats are just going to come out on election day. Florida, you can see the lead is almost 1.1 million for Republicans. And by the way, let's just take a minute to realize that is now larger or similar to their overall statewide registration lead. And we're not even at 100% turnout. And so if you know anything about that, that means that the GOP is overperforming more than anyone, including myself. I'm very bullish on Florida Republicans. They are really showing up today. The election day margin is like R plus 20, something insane like that today. Not expected on my part, but in my opinion, I think this is going to keep going. I think President Trump is not only going to win this state, I think he can win it by over 10.
So if the Republican enthusiasm is in the plus 20%, that's a leading indicator, because we get these numbers from Florida so accurately. That's a leading indicator for what's happening across the country. You're seeing some positive signs out of the Northern Mariana Islands and Guam, Dixville Notch. Everything seems to be shifting rightward at a pretty significant clip. And Florida is kind of a canary in the coal mine there. How transferable is this to the national political arena?
Yeah, well, first you have to go look at Arizona, because Arizona is a state that Trump very, very narrowly lost in 2020, thanks to Maricopa County. And we're looking at Maricopa today. We're looking at Arizona, and the 10 a.m. Local update, Republicans are leading by double. What you have up now is not really changed. That rate is the same, and that's a couple hours old now.
Oh, yeah,
so
okay.
Republicans are keeping up pace. That number has doubled on both sides, and Republicans are not slowing down in Arizona. And so you say, okay, let's look at Florida, let's look at Arizona, and let's look at the nation. You mentioned everything shifting right. New Hampshire, we had that small town vote at midnight go tie 50-50 for Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. That was a town that Biden won every vote in that town of 6. And the last time Trump got a vote in that town was 2016. You go look at where Republicans are situated in these rural areas. We're seeing a flood. This is anecdotal, but it's also a lot of anecdotal. It's building up. We're seeing these massive lines in churches. We're seeing Bucks County. There were lines before polls even opened. Bucks County recently flipped Republican. Scott Presler's been basically living there for the past year. And it's just, you want to say it's shocking, but it's really not, because we kind of saw this coming. Even CNN was reporting the other week, if Trump easily wins, all of the indicators were there. So I think that right now what we're seeing is Republicans, they voted early, but a lot of them are still waiting to vote. So looking at Florida, looking at Arizona, you mentioned this is a lagging indicator. I do think this is a sign that all of this data we're seeing, we don't have the same real-time data in a state like Pennsylvania. We're going to have to wait on that. We're going to have to wait on Wisconsin, but this is promising.
So in North Carolina and Georgia, we haven't talked about those yet. Can you zoom in there? And the indicators that we've got is that Republicans might have won the early vote in North Carolina, that Georgia is planning on having an early call tonight. And talk us through what's the updates from those states.
Yeah, so there was a model posted in the early vote last night. And I don't remember the margin, but Trump narrowly won the early vote under that model, where Biden won the early vote, obviously, in 2020 in North Carolina. And just for perspective, again, if Trump wins the early vote at all, I mean, it's over. He's not losing the election day vote. I will very confidently state that. And I think Democrats know that too. So North Carolina, if he did win that early vote, I know you mentioned earlier that you're probably looking for an early call in those two states we talked about, North Carolina and Georgia. In this situation, he could easily surpass his 2020 margin in North Carolina. Now, going over to Georgia, that is a state that Trump obviously would be flipping back from 2020. In the early vote, we've seen black turnout, minority turnout down. The gap between white turnout and black turnout is significant, and the rural turnout is high. And again, this has been the story of the entire election. Rural turnout is up. It's not just Georgia, it's Wisconsin too. It's Florida too, and this is everywhere. So in terms of Georgia, yes, the elections officials said that he's hoping for a lot of the vote in by 8 p.m. And Georgia, North Carolina, really going to set the tone for tonight. Obviously, we're gonna hope and wait and see if Trump can run up the margins there. I believe that if he's able to extend his 2020 margin in North Carolina, maybe get to his 2016 Georgia plus 3, 4, 5, bodes well for him in Pennsylvania, and that's the game.
So in Pennsylvania with these long lines, can you talk us through what they mean? We've also seen some scant lines inside of urban centers that tracks with the Trump data that was released yesterday saying that urban voters are just not showing up, and not just showing up by small percentages, in the millions comparatively between now and the 2020 election. Democrats have eroded or atomized millions of urban votes, and that's tending to play out. Meanwhile, rural votes are surging for Trump, and we've put up the lines. You can see them all across the country. These lines, I mean, this image alone is insane. Here's one that you posted. What is this an indicator of?
Yeah, well, when you see blue collar workers, you see working class, you see white people coming to the polls, and obviously, if you're trading a black vote for a white vote, Trump has made a lot of gains with minorities. We know he's trying to hold on to his white margins from 2016, 2020. But the bottom line is there's this Democratic hope that, oh, well, turnout might be down in the urban areas, but all these men are voting for Kamala Harris, and obviously she's going to do better with women. When you see a lot of these white men in line, that is a heavily Trump demographic. We're on election day, and you mentioned some of the scant images we've seen out of places like Philadelphia. And hey, there are some lines. It's election day, but I this is anecdotal, but I didn't see many minorities in those lines, and that's reflective in the early voting data out of Pennsylvania, where white working class Philly and Pittsburgh Republicans are up. And in black Philly and black Pittsburgh, Democrats are down from 2020. So I think that a lot of what we're seeing right now is really aligning with what we saw in Pennsylvania mail-in voting data. And again, you look at these lines, you see blue-collar workers. They're showing up. They're definitely voting for Trump in large numbers. And we don't have that much intel out of Pennsylvania yet, but it's a promising sign if you're the Trump campaign.
What you're looking at here is a line in Virginia. Now, this is something that other pollsters have come on our program and have said, guys, Virginia might be in play. It's like a 50-50 at this point. And you're looking at a line in Virginia from a rural area waiting to vote, and that's the reports that we've been getting. Do you see any indication that Virginia might actually flip for Trump, or something like a New Hampshire or a New Mexico or even a Minnesota?
Yeah, I think if Trump has a good night, he has a chance at one of those. I think it's a little bit too difficult to tell which one it could be. It could be all of them get close. Maybe one of them tips over. We've had some. You remember 2016, New Hampshire was razor thin. The state has trended, to the left since 2016. So no one knows which one it might be. But I've seen indications that at the very least, and again, winning a state like Virginia, winning a state like New Hampshire, at that point, Trump has already won the election. He's already won Pennsylvania. It would be a nice bonus to have. It would give him a mandate. It would definitely be fun to watch. But I do think that his odds of winning these states, based on preliminary reports we're getting, is probably higher than some might think. So Virginia, I don't think a flip is out of the question. Kamala Harris, probably the favorite there. But again, these rural surges, I don't think they're isolated.
No, I mean, we're seeing them around the country. Here's Charlie Kirk posting massive lines in rural Pennsylvania, majority men. It's happening. Go vote. You can see some homies wearing construction uniforms there, standing in line. That was a Halloween outfit for me this year, but this is actually what a humongous majority of men wear actually to work every single day. And I think Donald Trump wearing that orange vest, driving that dump truck, I think that you're going to really elicit a vote out of people that can't be reached by polls. I think there's like a secret Trump vote, Eric, and I like maybe ask, it's an esoteric question, but what do you see in the polling that suggests that there is just, my intuition, millions of people that can't be reached by pollsters that are going to show up and crawl over broken flaming glass to vote for Donald Trump? That's what I get from the streets when we go out and talk with people, that these are people that just can't be reached scientifically or algorithmically by traditional polling, and they're going to show up on Election Day.
The New York Times said in their final polls, they said our final polls, and they had Kamala Harris leading in the likely voter, Trump leading in the registered voter. I think that's a way to cop out. Regardless of that, they said white Republicans just aren't answering our polls. And they said the same thing happened in 2020, that there's this huge gap, like 20-point gap. And they're like, white Republicans are not answering our polls. And there are a couple theories as to why. One theory is a lot of them voted early this year and they're just kind of checked out. It could be that. It could be a variety of other reasons. Maybe they just don't answer polls on the weekend. A lot of these pollsters were polling on the weekend. It could be a million things. But the bottom line is that if you remember yesterday, Trump finished out the night. He got an endorsement from Joe Rogan. He got an endorsement from the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, which is an anti-Trump group, mind you, until now, apparently. And the common denominator between those two is that is a lot of male appeal. That's a lot of young male appeal. Joe Rogan definitely with a lot of that. And, people saw it. People are seeing all the support lining up behind Trump, even from figures like Joe Rogan, who aren't, diehard Republicans, not even necessarily conservatives. And it's probably going to drive up a lot of this working class vote for Trump. And there's definitely, I think, a hidden Trump voter.
There's something that shocked me in these early numbers, and I haven't been really surprised by what's been coming out of Pennsylvania. For Republicans, I've been shocked at how underperforming Kamala Harris is. I mean, Kamala Harris is catastrophically underperforming with huge sections of the population that she needs to win. Maricopa County voting 2-1 right now for, and I think we have the official numbers back up, but Maricopa County vote has been shocking. This is, of course, the population center of Arizona. It's the urban center of Arizona, and it's going Republican when the early vote went Republican. Republicans winning, I think, by something like 180,000 votes in the early vote in Arizona. Now up in Maricopa, this has got to spell doom for Kamala Harris's hopes of winning Arizona.
Yeah, and the thing about Maricopa is it's not exactly a, deep red rural area. I mean, that is a swing county. That is a purple county. There's a lot of moderates there. So we have to see how these voters vote, right? We have to see, and sadly, we're going to be waiting because they're on the other side of the country. So we're going to be getting a lot of other data first. But in my opinion, when you see one party flock to the polls, what happens is that is a sign of a higher independent surge in favor of that party. Because think about it. Everyone has a registered party, but if Republicans are surging to the polls, their ideology more closely aligns with right-leaning independents. And so think about what is causing those Republicans to surge, probably similar things for those right-leaning independents. And then you think about Democrats down, left-leaning independents might be down too. They follow a similar worldview, and the motivating factors driving them to or away from voting for Kamala Harris are the same. So these numbers out of Maricopa County, it's another early indicator. Kamala Harris is going to want to be doing well there, especially if she wants to win the state. She has to win the county. But if she was doing so well among moderates, if she was getting all these crossover votes, I just feel like the gap between Republicans and Democrats wouldn't be so high.
Yeah, so these are bad indications for Kamala, along with the enthusiasm in Florida. I guess historically, when Florida votes, and leans right, when Florida shifts right in every single presidential election in your lifetime and mine, then that means that Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan go right. Everything moves to the right. That Florida has been an indicator of that. Do you believe that that's a worthwhile matrix that we should be looking at this through? And that's how we've been trying to interpret the plus 25 margin for Donald Trump in Florida today.
Yeah, so in 2020, that was the only year when the state moved right, but the country did not. Now, there is another way of looking at this. Florida is still handy, and the reason for that is Duval County, Pinellas County, that's Tampa Bay, Jacksonville. Those counties moved left in 2020, even though the state did not. Early voting is showing both of those counties, pretty much every county, but Duval, Pinellas, Hillsborough, so that's the Tampa area, and Jacksonville, they're bolting to the right. And those are the two remaining bellwether areas in Florida that we can look at. And right now, Republicans are surging in those areas that Biden won. And they are urban, suburban populations. They have high Hispanic populations. They have higher minority populations. They have higher white educated populations, and they're surging Republican. Now, do I think that the shift in, say, Duval is going to be the exact same in some of these other states? Not the exact same, but you have to look at the direction. And think about 2020. Trump lost the election by under 50,000 votes. So the shift that has to happen from 2020 is very small. So to answer your question about Florida, I think that looking at the state as a whole, we'll have to see how far to the right it goes, but definitely look at Duval and Pinellas County.
What say you about Miami-Dade? That blew my mind in these early maps. That Miami-Dade is red, is Republican. Red. Is this going to continue? Is this a trend that's going to continue? We're now nearly at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The polls close in 6 hours in the state? Yep. And so, I mean, the die is being cast right now. You can see here in the county view where Miami-Dade is light pink. Miami-Dade is voting red. And this is, of course, a melting pot county with huge numbers of Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Hispanics, Cubans, and they're going for Donald Trump. What does this say?
Well, an interesting fact about Miami, no Republican has ever won Miami-Dade County and got on to lose the presidency. Never happened in modern history. You can go back decades.
Wow.
So obviously a promising sign. Miami has swung to the right in registration. It's still a blue county. I mean, the county's blue. It's blue by registration. I think that their mayor is a Democrat. And when you look at what's happening in Miami, the most up-to-date, this is live right now, is R plus 3.5 by registration. So if Trump splits with independents, he wins Miami by 3 points. He lost it by close to double digits in 2020. Obviously, Hillary won it by, I think, 20 or 30 points. So that's not happening again. But Biden won the county, and I think Trump is on track to win Miami, which is big for him. And as I already said, that is another indicator that he is on track, I think, to win, fueled by this GOP enthusiasm. And you mentioned it has a lot of minorities. There's a lot of minority population in Miami. And the numbers right now are not looking good for Kamala Harris there.
So expand out. Last question here. What should we be watching for this evening? What are some of the rings of the bell that should say, wow, like things are going positively for the president? What would be some of your first indications?
Yeah, well, going in chronological order, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida. Well, very first is Florida. They have to report their votes by 7:30 in Eastern Standard Time. We're going to get the mail. We're going to get the early vote. If Trump is leading when the early vote drops, that state is going to be called at 8. The question is by how much is he winning? We're going to look at Duval. We're going to look at Pinellas, and we're going to see where Trump is at. Georgia, and moving up to Georgia, Duval has always voted to the left of Georgia. And that is a big indicator. That's a big thing to remember for tonight. So watch Duval County, Jacksonville, Florida. If the early vote drops at 7:30 p.m. and we have nothing for the entire country except Florida, look at Duval. Trump is winning Duval. His odds of winning Georgia go up. Up in Georgia, look at DeKalb County, look at Cobb County, look at the Atlanta metro area. If Kamala is not running up the margins there, she's done. North Carolina, you want to look in that research triangle. There are 3 major cities. You're going to look in Charlotte, and North Carolina should have results early too. So we're kind of going up the coast. We're going to look at Georgia. We're going to look at North Carolina. Those are the first 2 signs to watch for both campaigns to see where Trump is at. And if we can get an early call out of Georgia and North Carolina, and I have a hunch this is the Trump campaign's main goal, and that's why they were in, I think, North Carolina, Pennsylvania these last few days. Run up the margins on the East Coast, run up the margins in Pennsylvania. You don't even have to worry about Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada. It's possible. It's probably one of his clearest paths to victory. So obviously, as the night goes on, we're going to be all over the place, but at least for the first few hours of the night, watch Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. Finally, watch Pittsburgh, watch Allegheny County. That is not as deep blue as Philadelphia, but it has a lot of suburbs. And if Kamala Harris is not doing well in Allegheny County, that is a really bad sign for her.
So, I mean, if that's the ball game, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania.
That's it. You wouldn't even have to. I mean, obviously, we would all want to stay up to have fun, but if you wanted to, you could go to bed knowing Trump would be the 47th president if that happens.
Eric, we really appreciate your X feed, man. You put a lot of work into it. I want to pop it back up. Go pay a visit here and make sure that you are following along, because he does such an exceptional job of making the data digestible and bite-sized, where you can really see where the country is headed. Eric, you do great work, man, and we hope to have you back on the show very soon.
Thanks, Benny. Glad to be here.
Ooh, man, we want to get to some of Donald Trump's closing messages, because President Trump has been on a rampage posting today, putting out what I would consider cinematic and award-winning work. But first, we have to have a dance break. We have to do it. We talked about Miami-Dade. Can we do that as a play-beside, please? We talked about like how Donald Trump is winning in these areas, and that very interesting little piece of information has never gone to a Republican without a Republican winning the presidency. Okay, well, we'll take that to the bank, especially given the fact that we'll know at just a few hours. Guys, we'll know in 5 hours, 6 hours, the way that Florida voted. So we'll have these solid numbers. We'll have these hard numbers in just a matter of minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, while I don't think we're gonna spend the time as we wait for those results, dancing to the sweet tunes of the Trump campaign for their Latin outreach in Miami-Dade. This is an official Donald Trump campaign ad. Might be my all-time favorite.
Ay, 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 por Dios, yo voy a votar por Donald Trump. La buena vida por Trump. La economía por Trump. Hazlo por tu familia. Latinos por Donald Trump. Ay, 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 por Dios, yo voy a votar por Donald Trump.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
They've remixed it. You want to know why Trump's winning Miami-Dade County? Because they dropped the remix. They dropped a heater on us. Nobody was expecting it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The remix for 2024. Get going.
I will vote for Donald Trump. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. The people go out to vote, no fear, no more. Vote for Trump. Let's go. Vote for Trump. If you wanna keep
You can't lose with that energy. You can't. You can't lose. Ladies and gentlemen, you won't lose with that. You're lying, okay? You're lying. If you said in the comment section, if you said in the chat, I'm watching you. Sitting here, I watch the chat all day on the all day. Sitting here. I love the chat, by the way. Heart to you on the chat. Heart, love you in the chat. This has been a fun, very fun ride. We're going to bring this home. If you were saying in the chat you weren't dancing, you're lying. I know you were dancing. I saw you. I saw you were dancing. It is impossible to not dance to the, oh my God, I will vote for Donald Trump. It is impossible to not dance to that. Okay? You got to feel that. All right? And that's the energy. That's the energy, ladies and gentlemen, that we are carrying through on Election Day. Now, President Trump has crystallized that energy in a series of remarkable moves over the last 24 hours. And we want to touch on them because we think that they're very important. A political campaign is a energy that people take with them into the voting booth. That energy for you might be the mugshot, might be the assassination attempt, might be Donald Trump handing you salty fries. But what the campaign can do is can package that and put that together as an inspiring message to take with you in their best possible capacity. That's called a political ad. Okay, some of these events you can't manufacture, right? You can't create, hopefully not, you can't create the assassination attempt, right? I think that some people did, actually, but it certainly wasn't President Trump. But you can put your message together and give that to the voter to take with them into the voting booth and tell people what you're about. Tell people what you're about to do. President Trump has posted in the last 24 hours 2 just unbelievably remarkable ads with his closing message, with his closing vision casting for America. Now, we invited the president on the show today to join us live. Unfortunately, he's a little busy, okay, talking to all of his lawyers who are going to sue the literal balls off of the election riggers all across the country. So they're a little busy right now. But the next best thing is to show you Donald Trump's final message to the American voters. And ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Trump's closing ad. What does it mean to fight your final battle? Let's go.
Nothing worth doing ever came easy. Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. Never, ever quit. Never quit. Adversity makes you stronger. Don't give in, don't back down, and never stop doing what you know is right. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedoms. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way.
When they couldn't beat him, they tried to bankrupt him.
President Trump is back in a New York City courtroom.
When that didn't work, they tried to put him in federal prison.
Raided by the FBI.
When that didn't work, they even tried to kill him.
He just tried to kill President Trump.
Donald Trump still stands, ready to fight, ready to win, and ready to make America great again.
This is Donald Trump's house, brother.
This election, we all get to choose. I'm going to choose real American leadership and a real American badass. The 45th and soon to be 47th President Donald J. Trump.
Starting on day one, we will defeat inflation quickly and we will make America affordable again. I will cut your energy costs in half. It's time for the working man and woman to finally catch a break. We are going to bring back the American dream bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. When I'm back in the White House, we will restore world peace, and it will be again peace through strength. I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. I will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of our country. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. We all salute the same great American flag. Our best days are yet to come. Together, we will make America great again.
USA, 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 USA.
Come on, you're chanting. I know you're chanting. I know you're chanting fight, fight, fight. Gonna get some fight, fight, fights in the chat. Whew. We're cooking, baby. That is President Trump's final message. Until, of course, 3 a.m. when he left the stage. When Donald Trump put up what is a chilling and haunting and beautiful last push. This is the ad that went viral. That ad went viral that we just showed you yesterday, and I freaking love it. It's epic. It's like a Michael Bay trailer for a new Transformers movie, right? But this one is like a Christopher Nolan masterpiece, okay? Trump publishing this as he walks off the stage at 3 a.m. last night in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Donald Trump saying, here's the final crescendo for my movement. Okay, let's go.
8 years ago, one man had the courage to step forward, to take on the corrupt ruling class, to battle the Washington insiders who raided our factories, pried open our borders, and sent our best Americans to die in desert wars overseas. But the corrupt system fought back. They could never forgive him for taking away their power and giving it to you.
January 20th, 2017 will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again.
So they came after his family, his business, and his freedom. One hoax, one injustice after another. But Donald J. Trump pressed on because he wasn't fighting for himself. He was fighting for you.
They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I'm just standing in their way.
The Democrat Party tried to throw their opponent behind bars, but Donald Trump would not bow down to tyranny.
I will never quit, I will never bend, I will never break, I will never yield, not even in the face of death itself.
An assassin came within a centimeter of taking his life.
Seeing Donald Trump get up after getting shot in the face, pump his fist in the air, is one of the most badass things I've ever seen in my life.
Weeks later, a hostile foreign regime, desperate to stop America's comeback, launched their own plot to assassinate President Trump. No American political leader has had to endure what he has endured. He did it for us, for our children, and for our freedom.
We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. We are going to redeem America's promise and unlock the extraordinary future that is just within our reach.
But now, he is counting on you to finish the job. Only you can ensure all of this struggle ends with our victory. He took a bullet for you. Now, we need you to vote for him, because only you can decide how this journey ends.
Together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again.
On, baby. Gets the people going. Gets the people going. By the way, we have the behind the scenes of what you heard with the Mike Davis interview. So Mike Davis was literally doing an interview with us in the corner when this was happening. You'd hear Donald Trump walking into the room as Mike Davis was doing his hit with us. So we have the other side of that. You heard Trump live during Davis's hit go, "How we doing? We're going to win the election?" And here is actually the footage of that happening. We thought it's our moral obligation to show it to you. Here we go. Trump and Melania. There we go.
It's too early to congratulate, but we are hearing it's record kind of numbers. Caroline, do you want to just tell them what you told me a little while ago?
Sure, yeah. Enthusiasm is very high. We're seeing our voters are turning out, especially in rural areas across the country, and we see Democrat areas are not turning out as great as our people. So your people are ready, and they're turning out for you, sir.
And we had a big lead.
That was Caroline Leavitt, who is the campaign spokesperson. We have footage of Donald Trump casting his ballot as well. We wanted to get to this. Donald Trump casting his ballot moments ago. I have a feeling I know who he voted for. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Donald Trump and Melania Trump voting together in Palm Beach at their polling location. Such an interesting night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Do we have any audio on this? Yeah, let's see.
Okay.
How late at night are you expecting? Well, I hear, I don't know, the people you mean? Numbers of people? A lot of people. They'll be at the convention center at Mar-a-Lago. We have a lot of people. It's been very...
I want to pause. It's their clip. It's Fox News, not us, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fox News' clip, not us. They must not have been ready to take the feed. But it's not a glitch, right, on your phone. It's just the clip. We're just going to listen in, though. Hopefully it'll improve.
Very honored to find out that the lines are long, and the conservative lines, the Republican lines, are very long. We got back pretty late last night, and it was an honor. It was a great honor. We had 4 incredible rallies and left Michigan late at night. Many of you were with us, and I hear we're doing very well. I hear we're doing very well. We did a great job in that. We brought it back to the states, as you know. I believe in exceptions, as Ronald Reagan did. And we did a great job. We did something that they've wanted to do for 52 years. Yes, please.
Mr. President, you talk a lot about if you win, there are going to be tens of millions of Harris supporters who are going to be upset. What would your plan be to reach out to those people, bring them in? What would your message be?
Well, it'll be just that. We want to bring everybody in. We want to be very inclusive, and we will be very inclusive. We have a great country, but we have a country that's in trouble. It's in big trouble in many ways, and we have to straighten it out. We have crime is through the roof. We have people pouring through our borders that are not exactly perfect. They come out of prisons. 13,000 people convicted of murder. We don't need this in our country. We have enough difficulty. We don't need that. So I think people saw that. And it just seems that the conservatives are voting very powerfully.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump going on to say that conservatives need to stay in line. If you are in line, ladies and gentlemen, stay in line. Is this the continuation, Killer Klein, of that? Well, why don't we let the president speak? This is the only time that President Trump has spoken today. So let's go ahead and listen on in, okay?
But we're going to go over to the office in West Palm, and we're going to say hello to the workers. They've worked very hard.
Will Georgia kind of be your first indication of whether it's going to be?
I think so. I mean, I hear we're doing very well there in Georgia. I hear we're doing very well. I hear we're doing very well everywhere. Now, I may regret that statement, but I'm hearing that we're doing very well. Would you go louder? No, I haven't prepared a speech. No, I did speeches last night, all day long, all night long. At 2:00 in the morning, we left, and we did a lot of speeches. You can probably tell.
But have they prepared both cases or
No, I don't have to do that. I'm not a Democrat. I'm able to make a speech on pretty quick notice. If I win, I know what I'm going to say, and I don't even want to think about the losing part. I would like to tell all of the people that are online to stay online. We have tremendous Republican lines, and I've been asked actually to say it. It takes a while. I'd like to just make the statement that I'd like the Republicans to stay online. Democrats, if they'd like, they can leave. But I'd like the Republicans to stay online.
How are you gonna defeat this energy? Donald Trump giving a press conference there before he votes. This is Donald Trump at 2 a.m. last night. 2 a.m. How are you going to defeat it? Now, we've done a lot of talking about Donald Trump on this program. Let's talk a little bit about Kamala Harris. How did she spend her last 24 hours? Ooh. Get your cringe glasses ready. This is a tough one. This is a really, really tough one. First off, it begins with Kamala Harris having half-empty rallies. Now, you can't see it in this clip, but let me tell you, there was not a single available seat in the Donald Trump Michigan rally or in any Donald Trump rallies. Here, this is perfect, Klein. This is what Kamala Harris's rally looked like yesterday. While Donald Trump was filled to the rafters, and of course you know this, you've seen the clips all across social media. This is Kamala Harris's rally in a high school gymnasium that can't even be filled halfway. You tell me who has the enthusiasm. Kamala Harris's rent-a rallies being stretched pretty thin. Kamala Harris having massive buses bring people in from all around the areas. This was cataloged and reported on multiple times yesterday. How there was an army of buses bringing people in. They're probably not. Are they even American citizens? Who knows? Can they even vote? It's a rent-a rally. It's a rent-a mob. It's what they did during Antifa. There are unemployed people that can be coaxed out of their chairs with a pack of cigarettes, a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and a $20 bill. And this is what you get at a Kamala Harris rally. There's scientific data to prove this, actually. They track the cell phones. And what do they find time and time again? That the same people go to the same Kamala Harris rallies. That the people who are at Kamala Harris rallies have been to 3, 4, and 5 of them. And that they're not from the geographic area where the rally is. So the rally that Kamala Harris had in D.C., they had thousands of people from Atlanta, Georgia, and California at that rally. How the hell did they get there? Rent a rally. It's all fake. It's all manufactured to try and trick you. And we're not going to be tricked tonight. No. This is the night that they lose. Now, what happens at these rallies? It's very interesting when you have a candidate who doesn't have the capacity to communicate with the American people and who has fake rallies that she speaks at. So what happens is that she is, one, extremely disrespectful of the people there. We got kicked out of a Kamala Harris rally this past weekend, also really poorly attended, probably like 100 people there. And then when Kamala Harris actually gets, some type of human interaction at these rallies, she malfunctions. Check this out. This is so hard to watch. Here we go. Kamala Harris has somebody, I think is a protester, who says something at a rally. Okay, duh, that's going to happen to you. Watch her response, man. She's like completely in total meltdown. Now, Kamala Harris malfunctioning on stage. Go.
You know what? Let me say something about this. We're here because we're fighting for a democracy. Fighting for a democracy. And understand the difference here. Understand the difference here. Moving forward. Moving forward. Understand the difference here.
Moving forward.
What we are looking at is a difference in this election. Let's move forward and see where we are. Because on the issue, for example, of freedom of choice. That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. That's okay.
This is the South Carolina Miss America pageant answer. It's the same, in the Iraq. You know what I'm talking about? The producers are grabbing it. She sounds just like the South Carolina Miss America pageant contestant. As in the Iraq, for instance, it's perfect. Moving forward. We are as moving forward. It's like if you left your Tamagotchi in the sink with the water running. Doesn't work. She's not built for this. Clearly. She might be built for other things, right? Yeah. Definitely has plenty of time to get ahead and suck up to her bosses, but she ain't built for this. Okay? She ain't. What a joke. What a nightmare. Check this out. When people chanted for Kamala Harris at her own rally, Kamala Harris has this incredible trend, and we have, we're very honest with what our skills are on this program. Our skills are this: pattern recognition. We are alive, we pay attention, we connect the patterns, and we are able to then predict what's about to happen. We've been noticing a pattern with when Kamala Harris gets any type of human interaction at a rally, she totally short circuits. And in fact, she does then that causes her, that cascades and causes her to do things that actually kills the vibe of her rallies. Okay? Now check out this clip. No, it's the wrong clip. This one, please. This one right here. No. You need to actually physically load this clip in the chat. This is the right clip. The Fox News clip is the wrong clip. The CNN clip is the right clip. This clip is just perfect. Actually, this shows you the same thing. We'll play them back to back. Here we go. People cheering for Kamala Harris, cheering her name, chanting her name. The number one thing you want to do in this situation, and we give public speeches, the number one thing you want to do in this situation is to grab that positive energy and give it back to people. You take that positive energy, you absorb it, and then you give it back to them. The last thing you want to do is kill the vibe. Piss in the punch bowl, as they say. But lo and behold, watch Kamala Harris literally destroy any good vibes at her rally with this cringe-inducing cackle and this asinine request that just confuses people. And they're already confused. They don't even speak English. They've already eaten their free Chick-fil-A that you bribed them to go to this rally with. They've smoked their pack of cigarettes. And now they don't even understand what the hell you're saying. Here we go. Okay, great. Chanting. Okay, good. Kamala Harris is...
Now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that. Because it's about all of us. It's about all of us. And listen, I have fought my whole career to put the people first.
What? What? It's like you're in the middle of a super romantic dinner with the hottest person you've ever met, and you have explosive diarrhea in the middle of the restaurant. Like the waiters in tuxedos and they've just brought out the caviar, and you just can't help myself. You just crap your pants all over everything and everyone. I'm sorry, I'm not trying, I don't know how else to explain it. We give a lot of speeches. It is literal malpractice to do this to people. And she does it all the time. Here we go. Here's another one. So here's Kamala Harris. At an event. This is from yesterday. Okay, this is how Kamala spent her last 24 hours of this election. Standing in front of some hand-drawn sign. They must have run out of money. Standing in front of some hand-drawn sign in a teeny room with 100 people at it. The rent a rally is getting very, very expensive. They've run out of money. And she does it again. Watch.
Thank you.
Chanting.
Let's vote. Let's get out the 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 vote. Let's win. All right, let's get to work. 24 hours to go. And
Kamala, I don't know how else to say it. I don't know. Verbal diarrhea, is one that you're at a 5-star Michelin star restaurant, right? You're at a Michelin star restaurant and you have some horrible, you ate Taco Bell for lunch. It's a verbal diarrhea. She's just so awkward. She's so insecure. Everybody knows a woman like this. 3-time divorced, suburban mom who has no food in her fridge but a massive box of Chardonnay from Walmart, constantly hearing the bottle of Xanax rattling around in her cheap knockoff purse, who just constantly like can't stop talking because she's so insecure. Let's get out the vote. Let's get out the vote. And listen to how she kills the vibe. Just kills the vibe. Just crop dusts the entire room.
Out the vote. Let's get 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 out the vote. Let's win.
You need to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. You need to go to AA immediately. Somebody sign her up. Somebody do an intervention. Go to AA. You know, what's incredible is that this insecurity and inability to communicate or interact with an actual human is so indicative of like what Kamala Harris represents. She represents the machine. She represents a machine that is addicted to teleprompters, talking points, staffers, the government bureaucracy that can't exist on its own, that has no merit. Kamala Harris has no skills. I mean, no skills that you wouldn't have to like enter your age, you know, through a paywall, right? To get access to. No discernible skills, no discernible merit, no value to the free market. The single most unimpressive class of people are our political leaders. They are grotesque. And the one thing that they should be good at, which is retail politics, is their chosen profession. They're not. Watch this clip where Kamala Harris actually forces a family that she is door knocking back into their homes like it was a COVID lockdown. She's in Philadelphia. She's lucky it wasn't the Amazing Ashley's house. Amazing Ashley is an incredible producer that we have who lives in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who has a Trump sign in her yard right now. It's amazing. Kamala Harris literally shoves a Pennsylvania family back in her house so she can get a photo op. Watch this.
Hey, Max. I want a door knock.
Oh, you want to do a door knock?
Yeah, come on. Okay.
Here. You had your hat on at the Penn State game in front of 111,000 people on day Saturday.
Okay, come on.
There's no way. Oh, man.
Guys, to the right, please. Thanks.
It is?
First vote.
Yes.
Tomorrow morning.
She forces them back into their house like it was the COVID lockdowns again. It's so incredibly sad. It's so unbelievably depressing that Kamala Harris, through DEI and through a cancer inside of our nation, actually, that accelerates people's careers based on immutable qualities that nobody can help. Your skin color, your gender. Like immutable qualities that you're born with. There's a system that promotes people and adds accelerant and prominence to them just based on those things, not based on any merit, not based on any discernible skills, which Kamala Harris clearly doesn't have. Do we have anything from Kamala's rally last night? I was seeing some clips of like cringe Bon Jovi and stuff. Like Kamala had a rally last night. She was like addicted to the teleprompter at last night's rally. I want to show you this. I just want to be fair, right? Like Kamala had a rally in downtown Pennsylvania last night. She like couldn't get off the teleprompter. She was like weak and feeble. Kamala Harris gave multiple speeches yesterday, and the speeches were less than 10 minutes. Some of the speeches were less than 10 minutes. She's breaking, clearly. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not good. Putting this up for now says ALX. Okay, so is this the end of Kamala Harris's rally? Oh, so Kamala Harris spoke for like 15 minutes. That's it? At her big final rally? Is that what's going on here? So Kamala Harris's big final rally, she can't even speak for 20 minutes. We've been going today for nearly 3 hours. on our show. We don't even have a script. We don't even have a script. We have some assets loaded. We kind of like talk through the show as we go. Kamala Harris, like freaking can't even speak for 15 minutes to the last couple of dollars they had in their campaign account. The last menthol cigarettes that they had to give out for free. The last cans of Zyn that they were able to bribe college students to show up for. Free condoms, who knows? We saw it all at the DNC. I mean, we saw the free vasectomy bus rolling around. We sprinkled holy water on it. You know, held up a cross. Get away from us, Satan. Anyway, they packed people in to the little Rocky Stairs area, the Philadelphia Art Museum, and Kamala Harris graced them with her presence for like 10 minutes. Here's what she sounded like, ladies and gentlemen. Equal time here. Equal time. Here we go.
Our campaign has brought together people from all corners of this nation and from all walks of life, united by our love for our country and our faith in a brighter, stronger, and more hopeful future that we will build together.
She looks tired, man. She looks beat. She sounds tired. Look at how they have the presidential seal. They shouldn't even do that. That's like not allowed. You're not allowed to have the presidential seal up when the president isn't speaking. The president is still technically Joe Biden. So they're lying to you. They're rigging this thing. They're doing everything that they possibly can. Kamala Harris is not the president of the United States. Has anybody talked about this? She's not allowed to speak with that seal. Oh man, so cringe. So unbelievably cringe. Just to show you what we were talking about, this is what a Kamala Harris answer sounds like. Miss South Carolina. Here we go. This is who we have. We have the wish.com version of this running for president right now for the Democrat Party.
Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future for our children.
Thank you very much, South Carolina.
And that guy's like David Muir during the debate. Thank you. You're so smart. You're so wise, Kamala Harris. Thank you. The Iraq, I make sure that the Iraq, we help out the South Africa and the Iraq and the U.S. and the kids need maps. So it's a Kamala and such. It's a Kamala answer. That's why Kamala sounds like this every single time she gives a speech. Why the hell would you ever show up to a Kamala Harris rally? All you see is the same thing every single time. Here we go. We have the proof. Here we go. Oh my God. Help me put that to bed. Be done. I want no more cackle. I want no more of that in my earpiece. I want no more. I can't do it anymore. Please, let us retire the cackle forever. Oh man. The final argument here, the rich lady argument. I'm super rich lady. Vote for Kamala Harris. Do what I say. Feel sorry for me. I'm a victim. I'm a billionaire, rich lady that became a billionaire solely because I live in America, the greatest country on earth. But I'm oppressed, and do what I say because I'm richer than you. Watch.
If we don't show up tomorrow, it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again.
In what universe? Rich lady? In what world?
Like, why? Could show us the evidence of that. What data do you have of that? Exactly. Okay, Oprah, you're really famous and powerful. Surely you can provide a single stitch of data that would be evidence that you'll never be able to vote again. It's a disaster, ladies and gentlemen. It's a disaster of their own making. Again, this is just the Diddy list. That's it. The only people they have on their side is the Diddy list. That's it. We have everyone else. They have people who are at Diddy's freak-off parties. That's it. We have the Thug Life contingency. We have the Avengers, ladies and gentlemen. And we have my single favorite ad of the cycle. I know this is you're gonna say, Benny, how dare you? Because, well, Donald Trump's Latino ads are the best. Okay, yeah, they're amazing. And Donald Trump's ads are amazing. But Nicole Shanahan has this, and she was RFK's vice presidential selection. She's become a strong ally and advocate for Donald Trump. Nicole Shanahan's team is just so freaking good. And they put together, the final sort of song of the movement, right? They even used our footage. This is our footage when we went with Vivek on the trash truck earlier last week. Feels like a lifetime ago. But if we have an opportunity to play you one more thing, one more ad, well, this has got to be it, ladies and gentlemen. The great unity ticket of 2024. This is how we win. Let's go.
What will we do with this moment? How will we be remembered? Look at the opportunities before us.
This election really isn't about the left versus the right. It's about we the people choosing our government and the choice between freedom versus tyranny.
Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
Go wild, but it's a pedal down kind of thing. Don't you want healthy children? Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again? The sweet emotion raining all over me.
I come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
American rock and roll. Oh, whoa. American rock and roll. Oh, whoa. American rock and roll. The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again. American rock and roll.
Come on, baby. Yeah. American rock and roll. It's inspired. What a team. You've never seen a team like it before in American political history. You ain't never seen anything like it, ladies and gentlemen. It is truly, profoundly a special time to be alive. And it's been a great honor of ours to have played a small note in this movement. Had many of these people on our program, interviewed them, traveled the country with them. It's been fun. We've brought you along. If you support our work here, ladies and gentlemen, please sign up for the Benny Brigade. Please consider becoming a member. Again, we are going to be live tonight
We're going to be live. We're going to just let her rip. It's going to be a fun broadcast. We're going to speak the truth. We're going to bring you all of the hard data, and we have so much planned. We are not going to miss a single moment. We have our executive producers that will be at President Trump's rally tonight in Palm Beach, physically there, bringing you all of these sights and sound. Will be joining us live if we have the capacity. You never quite know until you get into these things. And we are set. We are locked and loaded. We are ready. We are here for you. So thank you for being here for us. We're just so appreciative and so thankful for everybody who supports the show. We give the heart to the chat every single show, and we say, this is our moment of victory. This is our time to win. There's a man who was featured in that ad, a man who I think possibly more than anyone actually brought this team together. When Elon Musk speaks, ladies and gentlemen, people listen, not only because he owns the #1 free speech platform on Earth, X, but also because Elon Musk is a man, and there are very few of them, a man that commands and deserves our respect for what he's done for this nation. He's a true hero. He's somebody who has rocketed us into the space age and has brought forward this nation technologically and patriotically. In his endorsement of President Trump, full-throatedly, in his advocacy for President Trump on Joe Rogan's podcast last night, and with his dogged adherence to how this country was founded and how it should continue with those principles: free speech and freedom for all. It's got to take a pretty incredible person to raise that up in someone. It's got to take a pretty remarkable person to bring that light forward. Being a parent is the toughest job on earth, man. You feel me? Being a parent is a tough job. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's our great honor to welcome to the program the remarkable woman who raised Elon Musk. Elon Musk's mother, Maye Musk, joins us now. Joining us now, one of the most consequential and fascinating women on earth, Maye Musk. It is our honor, Dr. Musk, to have you on the program.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to a fun time.
Yeah, well, this has been a very, very fun time. Few have had a wilder ride than you these past couple of months. Did you ever think you'd be sitting front row at Madison Square Garden as Hulk Hogan rips off his shirt?
No idea at all. I didn't even know we were going to sit front row, but of course I'm next to Elon, so then I am. But it was just the most wonderful event.
And also the First Lady, I believe, was right next to you as well. So
she was, and what a delightful lady she is, and she was playing with X as well.
Yes, that's right. Little X stole the show actually at this event.
Fine. That's fine. We don't mind.
Yes, you can see. You can see here.
You look at me. I'm taking photos of him too.
What an incredible moment. And I guess that there's so many places to start here, but the first and most appropriate place to start is how important motherhood must be. I know that this is something that you talk about in your new book, A Woman Makes a Plan, but this is got to be one of the most challenging and fascinating journeys to have been the mother of Elon Musk, arguably one of the most powerful, predominantly the most successful man on earth.
Well, it's stressful because every time he wants to do something, I think I'll do door-to-door directions. And I said, well, that makes life easier on the internet because the internet has just started. And so that was great. And then it was, I'm going to have you send emails and send money through emails. And I said, well, that's crazy, but sounds great. And then when my mom moved back to Canada, I said, I need to send it to my mom in Canada. And so he made that happen at Bent International. And then he sold that, and he'd been working day and night. So I said, now you need to take it easy. So he says, well, should I do electric cars or rockets or solar energy? And I say, just choose one. And he didn't listen to me. And he takes on the world. I mean, and it's not like the America supported him. They trashed him. The mainstream media or the liberal media or the Democrat media, that's all the same things. They trashed him continually. And then he did SpaceX, and they just kind of ignore that because they don't want to give any credit to SpaceX or Elon. And now with Starlink, you know, again, you just don't get good reports about it. So, but you know, when I give my talks in Europe and Asia, they love Elon. They just, they bring the men come to watch my talks and bring their little boys. And they want photos, you know. So he is appreciated everywhere except America, or American liberals, but
Yes.
a Democratic Party, but Republicans do appreciate him.
Your new book, A Woman Makes a Plan, Advice for a Lifetime of Beauty and Success and Adventure. You've certainly had that. What would be your advice to a mother watching or a parent watching who wants to raise an extremely successful child like you have?
Well, first of all, the book came out 4 years ago, and it's in 32 languages and hundreds of countries, over 100 countries. So, but it continues to sell so well, and my literary agents have never seen anything like that. So what's it, your question was, what's it like to...
Yeah, what would be your advice to...
Genius boy.
Yes.
Yes, well, first of all 3 of my children are hardworking and successful and fabulous, and I love it. But the thing is, nobody is nasty to Tosca because she does romance movies, and she has her own streaming platform, Passionflix. So you're not going to be mean about that because, you know, she's using romance books that are bestsellers. And then Kimball has restaurants, farm-to-table restaurants, and he has a Big Green, which is the non-profit, so that people can grow their own fruits and vegetables and eat better. So nobody trashes him. And then Elon enters into electric cars, and then into the rocket industry. And Neuralink also, the media either trashes him or ignores that. And again, he just went into areas where people are not competition. I don't even know who's or why the media is trashing him all the time, but they do that, and that makes me so angry. So, you know, you can imagine your mom would have been the same with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's right. I tell my mother never to read the comment section on anything that we do.
I'm sure.
Right. So why, though, I guess is an important question. I know that you've posted on X about this, about how cruel they've been to your son, who's one of our very great geniuses. And it must be so difficult to watch when the White House hosts an electric car summit and doesn't invite the creator of the inventor of the electric car.
I know. Again, who's telling Biden to lie and who's writing his script? Because maybe Biden didn't know there was doesn't know there's a car company called Tesla, and he was just given a script. But if he did know, then he knows he's lying, and why would he want to do that? It's bizarre. Yeah, and then of course they don't like SpaceX either. However, when they need 2 astronauts rescued from the space station, they still don't write positive things. They just ignore it, but they do need it. And then when they needed Starlink, Americans needed it, especially with a hurricane. But internationally, they need Starlink. And that, when Elon said, I'm going to put satellites into orbit, and so that people on top of mountains or in the forests or in sea, if they are getting lost, they can communicate. And I said, well, isn't that a nice thing? And then he did it. and it's been more than you can imagine. So when Elon says he wants to do something, I just have to nod, and then I see it happen. And it's quite incredible, but it's sad that America, the press, the Democratic press, trash him or ignore him.
Yes, I'm glad you said that caveat of the Democrat press, because I believe there's a very small radical wing that dislikes Elon because he threatens their power, but the vast majority of the country views him as one of our great living geniuses. And now you are witnessing, of course, Elon Musk, your son, going on stage, jumping up and down for joy, creating 100,000 memes in the process with President Trump. And what is it like to hear President Trump and the way he talks about your son? Because it's got to be wonderful to finally witness, like what we witnessed here in Butler, the appreciation that Elon deserves. And President Trump is obviously deeply appreciative. And the entire movement is as well. And that must be wonderful to see.
Yes, I'm thrilled about that. And when he gives talks, it's full, so people do like him.
Yes.
And but he didn't want to get into politics, but then again, they're going to shut down X, they're going to try and destroy Tesla and SpaceX. So, when you have a huge government organization trying to destroy you, you have to do what's best for America and for your own companies and all the 100,000 people who work for you. And that's why he's into politics and trying to keep it honest. And honesty doesn't work well, with the Democrats, because that seems to have gone, out of fashion for them. When I became a US citizen, of course, everybody said Democrats, and they were so good and kind and caring. And then they started becoming nasty and then malicious and then vindictive. And I just couldn't cope with being a Democrat anymore. So I resigned from being a Democrat, thank goodness. And I just felt like I'd lifted myself into freedom, that I can be I can be relating to people who want to do good in America and not to be corrupt and dishonest. That's the Democrats nowadays, and it looks like Trump and Elon and Vance and Tulsi and Vivek, and Kennedy are just, what a great group. And when you're voting for Trump, you're voting for dedicated experts in their own fields who really want to do the best for America. It's very exciting.
After watching the attacks on your genius son, what was this moment like? We have footage on screen of your son, which we had a decibel reader. Your son received the single loudest cheer of the night. From 20,000 people standing on their feet, roaring. I know you were in the arena. Mm-hmm. It must have been wonderful.
Well, he was nearly in tears, or he was a bit in tears. I was in tears. It was just so wonderful. Elon doesn't know that people do love him. And I do tell him. I tell him every time I give a talk, I have this rush of people just because I'm Elon's mom, And he says, "Oh, really? Yes." I said, "Yes, they love you everywhere else." And now we know they love him in America. And I think it was so special.
You're welcome to break news on this program. However, I'd love to get your insights into what a second Trump administration might bring for your son, for your family of geniuses and wonderful children. Obviously, Elon has said that he's going to have a place in government efficiency, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, and people are quite excited for that. Apparently, Robert Kennedy will be working with him, along with a number of other big names like Ron Paul. That's very exciting for many.
Yes, well, it will be a huge project, but you can't spend millions or trillions or billions, I don't know, on people who are not doing a good job. And that's what he did at Twitter. And he just went in, and I think he has 10% of the staff, but it's become a giant way to connect with people from all over the world. And of course, all over the world, the governments want to shut down X as well. But it's the best way to connect. And if Harris comes in and she shuts down X, how are we going to connect with each other again? How am I going to find you?
Of course.
Yeah.
And this is a perilous moment. It's a moment that
perilous.
A perilous moment that I think that you might have some insight in, and you've touched on this earlier in the interview. But can you talk me through why you left the Democrat Party?
Yeah, well, because they were becoming so malicious, and then I would watch CNN and MSNBC and read the New York Times, and I trusted them. But then they would lie about Elon. Well, first of all, they said Fox News bad, Trump bad, but they were saying Elon bad. I said, well, why are they lying about Elon? And my twin sister is a very smart woman. She's a hermit, so you can't see her, or she won't let you interview her. But she advises me, and because she's in touch and she watches the news, and she said to me, you've got to follow Fox News. And I went on there, and there they were giving facts, and they weren't shouting and angry. They were just they were inviting intelligent people on their shows. And it was, when you've grown up, I mean, you've spent 20 years hating it, and then you see now you're with the enemy, and then they end up being the friend, because they're the only channel that's honest. They don't try to lie. So I had to resign as a Democrat, and I was so happy to vote Republican. And I did say I didn't have to show ID, but then I did look up. They did accept my vote has gone through.
Well, that is wonderful to see. We've been seeing you on Fox News as of recently. You went viral this weekend for a little impression that you did on Fox News. We'll play it ever so briefly if you'll allow us. All right. Here we go.
Mark Cuban said this about Mark Cuban made the comment about strong, intelligent women are around around Donald Trump. And I wanted to get your reaction to that.
Well, it's certainly not us. And it's certainly not my friends, because they can put sentences together, and you know who can't. The absurdity of the absurd in the absurdity is absurd. I mean, of course. Really.
Hold on. Okay, so that is a bang on Kamala Harris impression. We were not expecting that. That was so good. Dr. Musk.
I didn't plan to do that, but instead of that, I should have said unburdened by the unburdened, and the burden, and unburdened will be unburdened. So I've used the wrong word. I'd forgotten which word she used over and over 4 times in one sentence.
You do a great Kamala. You clearly pay attention. You do a great Kamala Harris impersonation.
I know. Well, thank you.
You come from a middle-class family?
I come from a middle-class family. I was born in Midwest Canada. And and then we moved to South Africa, and we lived in a middle-class family in a small town there too.
Hey, that's good. Oh, I hope we don't have to hear that cackle ever again. So, how has that reception been? Have you been welcomed with authenticity and open-mindedness from the left now that you've changed your party and now that you are outspoken against Kamala Harris?
Well, my posts on Instagram were mainly fashion, but now I'm going a little, saying what I'm saying. And then, of course, Elon. And 80% are really excited and happy and little hearts and go for it. And 20% are nasty, malicious, hateful, dishonest, and they're Democrats. And not only that, but some of them have 0 followers and 0 posts. So they've bombarded my site with bots.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So-
well-organized bots.
Yes.
And sometimes I screenshot the insults, and people say, don't pay attention to them. And I'm surprised, because to me, Instagram is for the fashion industry, which is mainly Democrats. And so those that were saying vote for Kamala, I've unfollowed them. I don't hate them, because they've been deceived like I was before, and you can't blame them when you've been brainwashed. And so then, I still have so many modeling options to do. Who knew? I mean, I'm 76. Why am I saying no to all these modeling jobs? Because I'm too busy.
Yes, that's right. Well, it's quite clear what you are busy with. We have a clip here that I thought was just amazing. It's
Okay.
President Trump shouting you out in front of this roaring crowd in Madison Square Garden. I mean, it's one thing to I'm sorry, at a campaign event just 24 hours ago, talking about you. What a great honor. And I'm wondering about this moment, and if you ever expected to be such a integral part of one of the most consequential presidential elections. Let's listen to the president here.
And what they do is so sad. But Elon is a total pro, and I saw his mother, the most elegant woman. I said, Elon, she produced you. Well, she produced one hell of a smart guy, but I'm saying, did you see his mother with her beautiful white hair? She looked like total royalty. And she said she went, I think, to New York, and she pulls out identification. No, I don't need that, ma'am. Oh, of course you do. It's my, she wanted to give it. They didn't want it. And she said, very interesting. She was interviewed just yesterday. A very smart woman, produced a lot of smart kids too, not just Elon, a lot of smart kids. And she was amazed. She left there. They didn't want any information. They didn't want her ID. They didn't want identification. And she said, that's a strange thing. I've been in many countries and they always want your identification. So, look, we have a country with a massive headache, and it would go a lot longer than headache. It would be a much stronger word than the word headache. And
so, did you ever expect to be such an important part of the presidential election in 2024?
No, I just met him in Madison Square Gardens. We didn't really have time to talk. Don't forget, there's all security. It's in the green rooms. It's really busy. And I didn't think he'd even noticed me, but that was fine. I didn't need to be noticed. I just wanted to support Elon. So that was really really sweet of him, and quite a treat.
So he called you royalty. That's pretty great. And perhaps you could respond by explaining, we are at the eve of an election right now, who you voted for, and maybe give a message to former Democrats or independents out there that may be on the fence.
Yes. Well, if you're a Democrat and on the fence, please go onto X, follow Benny, follow people who are being excited and positive and happy for a possibility of a good future. And then you vote for your future. And it may be very, very hard as a Democrat to vote Republican, but I'm seeing more and more people are posting that. So you have to be strong and think of your future.
Strong and think of your future. And I think the future will be very bright if we can catch rocket ships in midair and travel to Mars and have self-driving cars. I mean, it's just, I want to just give a thank you in our own humble way. Nothing like the way that President Trump came from the stage at Madison Square Garden, but in our own humble way, you've liberated so much. You and your parenting and your children have helped liberate our staff. our movement online on X. We use it every single day. The show would be nearly impossible without X, and so we're deeply appreciative for you and your family, Dr. Musk.
And have you been sleeping well?
Oh yes, actually.
You have.
Yes. I have 4 children, and so I'll take sleep anytime I can get, and I believe I believe that it's in God's hands, right?
Well,
so
I'm very anxious for tomorrow, but optimistic. But well, let's see.
Let's see. I believe that it is in God's hands, and I trust it because God oversees the leaders of nations, and so I think I can be at peace with that, knowing that we've left it all on the field.
Yeah, you've done great work and great posts and great information. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Please follow Maye Musk here, 1.2 million followers on X, a wonderful account, some wonderful posts, and a behind the scenes as to what it takes to raise some of the most successful children on earth. Here is the website for the book, A Woman Makes a Plan. It's available worldwide and in multiple languages all around the world. An absolute bestseller. How many of these languages do you speak?
Je pa gaan sê, ek kan Duits spreken, ek praat Afrikaans en verstaan Hollands.
Just remarkable.
Yeah.
Remarkable. Just like Melania Trump. I think Melania Trump speaks 7 languages.
No, but she's probably fluent.
Yes.
I'm still a slow speaker. I'm fluent in Afrikaans, but Dutch, French and German, I speak slower. But they say I have a good accent, so that's good.
They also say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and we can see where Elon gets his spark and his genius, and it is our great honor.
And sense of humor.
And a sense of humor. That's right. That is his Kamala impressions.
Exactly.
Well, we celebrate with you, and we are so proud that your son and your family have found acceptance and the appreciation that they deserve in this America First movement. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
All right. That's a really exciting one, right? Like this is kind of exciting. It's kind of wild the way that the show's gone. Kind of like a wild. What is happening here? Is Elon Musk's mom doing Kamala Harris impressions on the show? Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Are we winning? Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Look at this. Here are some of the numbers that we now know out of Florida. Republicans winning by 1.1 million voters today. That's the gap in Florida. This is an enthusiasm vector matrix that is going to be projected upon the rest of the nation and going to show you how the rest of the nation is about to vote. Republicans are up by 25 points in Florida on Democrats, outvoting their registration numbers, flipping red counties blue. We'll be paying very close attention to that. First, Secretary of State Election Day update out of Nevada, not good for Democrats. Republicans, 20,000 votes. Republicans were already up in the early vote in Nevada. Democrats, 16,000. That's plus 4,000 for Republicans who were already up in the election. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to rock and roll. It's a time for us to grab this energy, to ascend, to do what Rush Limbaugh demanded that we do. 4 years ago, Rush Limbaugh, we lost in a moment that will, of course, never be able to be replaced. A figure that can never be replaced in broadcast. The man who I had the pleasure of meeting once, one single time, and told him he was the voice of my childhood. Because all that we ever heard in the car when we were driving was Rush Limbaugh's voice. Are you the same? Do you remember that? You have the same experience as I did as a child. So Rush tells me backstage, she's like, everybody always tells me that. Everyone your age, every millennial always tells me that I was the voice of their childhood. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to that voice one more time. Rush Limbaugh crystallizing what they were about to do to Trump. This is on the eve of Trump leaving office on his program, giving us a warning and a charge as we march through to today. His words, and he passed soon after this, Rush Limbaugh, dying of cancer when he said these words. A signal to all of us as to what was about to happen to Trump and why they wouldn't win, why we would eventually win in the end. Rush Limbaugh from the great beyond, giving us marching orders today. Let's go.
I know they desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump, 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going anywhere. Even if Trump does, you're not. They can't separate you from Trump. And more importantly, they can't separate you from the ideas. They can't separate you from MAGA. They can't separate you from Make America Great Again, which I think remains one of our big campaign strengths going forward. They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump.
From the great beyond, from heaven's golden gates, the golden microphone, Rush Limbaugh, a man who I think passed the torch, quite frankly, of populism and of the personification of American freedom, might, off to Tucker Carlson, which is how, ladies and gentlemen, we will end our first live of the day today. We have no further election data. Is that correct, ALX? We've talked through everything that we possibly can at this current moment. We're going to wait and see. In just a few short hours, we'll be live again, and we'll have more for you. Ladies and gentlemen, we leave you with a Bible verse, as ever, as we always do on this program, and a word from the man who I would argue inherited the baton, the golden microphone from Rush Limbaugh. If there is somebody who could inherit it, it's Tucker Carlson, with sort of a final crescendo of what this moment means and what a vote for President Trump means. Ladies and gentlemen, our verse of the day. Proverbs 21. The horse is made ready for the day of battle, but victory rests with the Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, know that we can do everything, and we've left it all on the field here on this program. We've done all that we can. We've gone everywhere. We've done every video that we could possibly think of. We've done every interview. A lot of weekends away from the family. And, man, a lot of attacks. Not the same as, not the same as present, obviously. But it's been a wild ride. You've been there through that ride with us. And we have done, I can say with confidence, we have done everything that we can possibly do on this team with what humble resources we have been given, and we are thankful for them. And now it's up to God. And so I'll end the program by the same way that I began it. I was head bowed on my knees this morning, praying to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to save this nation from evil. And I believe that God will save us because God promises that he will save us. I believe it in my heart. Said the same thing to Maye Musk. I do sleep at night because my faith is in God. My faith is in our Lord and Savior. And so it is for a moment like this that we stand firm and our faith remains. And we know that God's got us as a country. I believe this is pivotal, obviously, for the future of this nation. I believe it is the most important election in our lifetime. And I believe that we will win. I have great peace about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, pray with me through the rest of the day. Join us this evening as we are live, as we will be live from Donald Trump's party, election night party in Mar-a-Lago. We'll start getting some of the returns around 7 o'clock, so that's when we'll be live, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll stay live. We're going to finish the race here. It's going to be really fun. We hope that you'll join us. Ladies and gentlemen, take us away, Tucker Carlson, for what the MAGA movement means. Why this MAGA movement is the ascendant political movement, America first, why we are the future, the rebels, the fighters, the troublemakers, the crazy ones who dreamed that we could change the world. And, you got to actually have that dream in order to change the world. And damn it, we're going to do it tonight. It's got to be biblical. It's an honor to have been a part of it, all with you. We'll see you tonight as we read the election results. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go.
Millions of Americans sincerely love Donald Trump. They love him in spite of everything they've heard. They love him often in spite of himself. They love Donald Trump because no one else loves them. The country their ancestors fought for over hundreds of years has left them to die in their unfashionable little towns, mocked and despised by the sneering half-wits with finance degrees but no actual skills who seem to run everything all of a sudden. Whatever Donald Trump's faults, he is better than the rest of the people in charge. Donald Trump, in other words, is and has always been a living indictment of the people who run this country. That was true when Trump came out of nowhere to win the presidency, and it's every bit as true right now. Trump rose because they failed. It's as simple as that. If the people in charge had done a halfway decent job with the country they inherited, Donald Trump would still be hosting Celebrity Apprentice. But they didn't. Instead, they were incompetent and narcissistic and cruel and relentlessly dishonest. They wrecked what they didn't build. They lied about it. They hurt anyone who told the truth about what they were doing. That's true. We watched. America is still a great country, the best in the world, but our ruling class is disgusting. A vote for Trump is a vote against them. That's what's going on in this country.
What a nasty woman. For Peanut.
Truth gon' be faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies. Watch the truth cascade with the warrior's heart. This man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to life. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies. Watch the truth cascade with the warrior's heart. This man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. bringing liberty to light.